My God. It's been 2 weeks since our last podcast. Quite a lot's happened since then. Even more is going to be happening soon, right around the corner as we slowly draw closer to the release of Elden Ring's DLC. I approach the new war and Warframe. I learned the true purpose in the making of Warframes. Today, my friends, we talk a great many things indeed. Many things have happened across the video game industry, and my friend Mark and I have plenty to discuss with that, as well as all of the great things we get to look forward to in the coming weeks. I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring in preparation, and I'm glad to share some of those thoughts with you here today. So, welcome back, my friends, to the Just Gaming podcast. Same podcast we have every Sunday, unless we miss, which we have missed in the past, so I guess it's not like every Sunday, but it's most! And that's what's important. What's more important is the fact that you're here today. Grab your cup of coffee, tea, mead, or whatever it may be, and join us in this glorious day. Very glorious. What's up, Mark?
Hey, what's going on there, bud?
All right. Welcome back to you and everybody, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to the Just Gaming podcast with me, your host, Ian, and my co-host, Mark, and good friend. This is episode 89.
It is episode 89. I think Twitch isn't running up, bud.
Yeah, it is.
Twitch is going, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I see them in the chat.
Right. I see the chat, don't see the vid. All right, cool. We're good.
Yeah, sometimes it'll happen like that, I guess. I'm not really too sure.
Sometimes. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't make it last week. Had an emergency to take care of, but
Hey, it's all right. Hey, it's all right. You know, stuff like that happens. It happens. It happens. Anyway, so welcome back to the Just Gaming podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, we have this podcast every single Sunday, usually going over all the different things that have happened in the industry over the last couple of weeks or so. Gives us all a little bit of a catch up and an opportunity for me to discuss some stuff with Mark. Welcome back to everybody out there, seeing Jax and Hago and Mick Linart. I don't know. Dude, the hardest thing with chatters is like trying to pronounce their names.
Their names, yes.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do it wrong because you don't want to offend somebody.
No.
And you don't want to sound stupid. So both. It's a little bit of both.
Both. Nano and Nem and Dark and Mayak. Macaque. All right, I'm done. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. We have plenty of stuff to discuss today. So we start with what we always do. Mark, what have you been playing lately, my friend? You've been jamming for the last 2 weeks on your own, so I have no idea what you've been up to.
I have made it to the Path of Steel, sir, in Warframe, and I need you to catch up so that because I need help. It's hard, so I need help. I actually played Destiny 2. Just the raids, just the in-game stuff, guys. Calm down. It's just the in-game stuff. The actual fun part of that game. I did the Vault of Glass and Crota's, which was kind of fun to go back and play. They've actually revamped them a little bit. They made them a little bit, I don't know, changed it up enough to where it seemed a little newish.
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima has been eating up a lot of my time. Yeah, other than that, that's been about it for the gaming.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I am not on the Steel Path.
Yes.
I still got a little ways to go before I can get to that. I think it's probably something. It'll probably happen after New War.
Yeah, I think you have to finish the main stories. It's not just the note, right? So I think you have maybe after New War. I think you have like 2 more main stories to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Steel Path is no joke. Like I went into it like the first one, and I was like, by myself. I realized that I had already set it to friends only, right? And so when I go and I was like, wow, nobody's playing Still Path. Well, I guess this is what it is. And
Yeah.
it took,
Yeah.
dude, I was in it so long, I got invaded 4 times by the stalkers or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how long it took me to wear these dudes down. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been playing obviously Warframe quite a lot. Been streaming that most of the week. And then I played like a little bit of Helldivers last week or earlier this week. I played a little bit of Elden Ring. I've been going into that, trying to get myself caught up. I'm now at I'm getting close to Radon. I'm probably gonna stream a little bit of it next week sometime. I'm not really too sure when. Because I'm not planning on doing any of like the major story stuff. Like I'm not gonna do New War next week. I'm gonna save New War for the week after that because I got a lot of other. There's like side quests that I need to catch up on. There's still some systems and stuff that I'm trying to wrap my mind around. So I want to do some of that stuff. I haven't done enough reputation grinding and stuff like that. Like that's gonna take a long time to be able to do. Yeah. So I gotta work on some of that stuff. But outside of that, yeah, no, everything else has been pretty much a little bit of that, maybe a little dash of Balatro in there every once in a while, just to get the brain, you know.
I don't even mention it because it's like the graham cracker crust at the bottom of the pie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't see it, but you know it's there, and it's always good.
Yeah.
No, an Elden Ring stream would be kind of because I hear your rage over Discord. I've just never seen it. I just want to physically watch you just
go back and watch the what was it when I played Sekiro on stream. I was playing, or Sekiro, I think is how you say it. But yeah, when I was playing that on stream, I mean, like it's hard. It's hard to stream games like that because you don't like being angry in front of a bunch. I don't like being angry in front of a bunch of people. Like it's not reflective of like who I am or what I normally am like. But you know, you get into those situations with some of these games that they frustrate you to the point that you just get like, I mean, you'll see some flashes of it every once in a while when I'm playing Warframe. Because like sometimes there'll be like a door that's not opened and I don't understand why it's not. And if it was me playing by myself and not streaming in front of a bunch of people, it probably wouldn't even irritate me. But since I'm like trying to constantly move forward while I'm playing in front of people, then it's like, okay, wait a minute. I don't have the time to sit here and like critically think about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like I can imagine like getting one of those like really hard, the shit puzzles, like for like the spy deal where you have to unlock the deal and just keep failing at it.
Yeah,
it would be. Yeah, I get it. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah, no, I did that with the spy missions. I got super frustrated with those because I was just like, I don't like if I'm doing it by myself, it doesn't frustrate me because I can just take my time.
Yeah.
But when you're doing, and like technically you could do that in front of an audience, but it's just not the same kind of thing because it's I don't know. There's an added pressure that I don't think a lot of people realize is there. But
there is.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I've been bouncing back and forth with that. Oh, I played Hades 2 as well.
You know what? I've been wanting to pick that up. It's just early access right now, right? But they're saying it's like basically the full game, or
it's early access. It's early access that's twice the size of Hades 1.
Okay.
So it's huge. It's huge. There's so much shit there. The only thing that I would say, like, obviously there's some story bits and stuff like that. Maybe I don't even think there's like powers or anything that might be missing. Maybe there is, but there's so many upgrades and stuff like that are already in place, and just like the general base of like going back to your main hub area and doing that kind of stuff is already like probably like 5 times as big, honestly, as what you had in Hades 1. Because like you can plant materials. There's like a cauldron that you can interact with to put materials in to unlock other things in the game. There's vendors. There's, the weapon system and stuff like that feels awesome. Like the revamp. It doesn't feel like it's one of those things where they made a game that felt very familiar to Hades 1, but very different because the character controls so differently.
Really?
Yeah. It's not the same. Mm-mm.
I've picked up so many games that I haven't even, like I was telling you, like I picked up Resident Evil 2 like months ago because it was on sale and I haven't played it. No Rest for the Wicked, picked that up. I think I played maybe like 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Warframe is just stolen time from. So
Yeah. Well, that's like that's actually been one of the more difficult things for me is that it's trying to learn how to be able to not only like stream a game but still learn how to be able to cover stuff at the same time. It makes it honestly it makes a lot of sense when I look at folks like Skill Up, how he has like 4 or 5 people with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has 2 editors that are also doing reviews of games. And then he's reviewing games while also doing all the stuff that he normally does. And then like also trying to, have some semblance of a normal life outside of that. It's just crazy because it's like, oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to, well, since, he's known for reviews, you know what I mean? Like that would be like killer to try to keep up as a one-man army on that.
I couldn't. I mean? Well, the funny thing is you look at somebody like Mortismal Gaming.
Yeah.
The dude 100% games within like a week. I don't even know how. Like, and he has a wife and kids. It's
maybe the wife and kids are putting in time.
Maybe, yeah.
They're just putting in time for him.
It's just a gaming sweatshop. Yeah.
And he's like, "Can we have another kid?" She's like, "No."
He's like, "We need a couple more. We need a couple more." But funny. Yeah. So I've been bouncing around from stuff like that. Dude, there's just been so much stuff that's happened in like the last few weeks that I have no idea where to even start.
Well, I mean, it's so much stuff that there's stuff that I have strong opinions about. It's stuff that I'm just like super indifferent about, and it's like honestly, I've been more annoyed probably the last 2 weeks with just the gaming community in general as a whole.
That's spicy.
Yeah.
That's spicy. I like that. Okay.
Just because like as a whole, we're just a bunch of whiny bitches. You know what I mean? It's just
okay.
It's the craziest thing. Like if a developer does something, it's the end of the world for 2 days. And if this publisher says something, it's the end of the world for 2 days. I mean, it's just this constant fucking soap opera on Twitter and everywhere else that it's just like I'm just over it, man. I'm so over it.
Okay. Yeah. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I like that. It's so nuanced though, because like the problem is that in a lot of cases, it's true. It's just flat out true. Like gamers can't be happy.
No,
we can't
make them happy.
Even if you make a game that's like incredible, like they're still gonna find something to be unhappy with. But at the same time, like that's just kind of the nature of like consumer goods to begin with. And I think one of the things that's kind of happened over time is that you see in a lot of cases, there's a lot of folks that are out there that are complaining about stuff frequently, which then causes developers to not want to listen to it until it's too big of a problem. And then, the issue is a lot of these folks can't do what they need to do, which is be able to discern good criticism from bad criticism. And because gamers at times will just complain about every little thing possible, it's difficult for them to discern as a studio or as a publisher, what is actually the criticism that they need to work on and what is not. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, and I guarantee, we'll talk about Diablo, actually, because I think that's a really good example of that. Is that I would guarantee that at the very beginning, with a lot of the core issues that Diablo had, there were things that players were complaining about before the game released. When it was in beta, when the beta came out and people played the beta, there were a ton of things that players complained about at like right then, right there. You know what I mean? Like how far vendors were away from each other, how crafting didn't feel very good. Loot rates, drop rates, things like all kinds of different stuff. And I think that Blizzard as a company has become so numb and resistant to player criticism because they kind of have a very vocal fan base regardless if they do anything right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because of that, they ignored a lot of really important criticism at the very beginning before the game even released. And then they continued to ignore that exact same criticism until they started to see the player numbers fall into the gutter. And then that's when they were like, "Oh, wait a minute. They were being for real this time."
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about like actual viable issues with the game. You know what I mean? Like how a game works, its mechanics, features. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just all the outside bullshit. You know, the Stellar Blade put like the developers putting in the sexy clothes that everyone was bitching about. And then you've got the weird people who are complaining to put it back. I mean, it's just like that's the type of stuff, you know, the stuff that doesn't matter about gaming is the stuff that I'm just like, that seems to be what we are focusing on the most part.
So with that specifically, man, okay, so this one's kind of hard for me. So I wanted to talk on the Stellar Blade stuff a few different times. It was something that definitely interested me, but the problem is that when you enter into those kind of discussions, you end up falling alongside the same side of people that are like extremists in some way. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, I'm against like the censorship of like, you know, this and that, and I don't want, you know, these kind of themes in my games. And then all of a sudden people are going to look at you and they're going to co-opt you into a very specific camp of beliefs that I don't share. And a lot of that stuff gets kind of co-opted that way. And it becomes a movement that I don't want to be a part of, where I'm like, yeah, I would rather them keep the costumes the way that they were supposed to be, not the censored versions. But I also don't believe this whole slew of other things that's, you know, kind of going alongside that. And it's difficult to be able to make sure that you can differentiate yourself from, you know, some less than savory individuals on the internet and yourself and what your opinions are. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things, like I've always been like really cautious when it comes to how I talk about like, you know, all that stuff that they had going on before with like Sweet Baby Incorporated and all that kind of stuff. Where that's the
kind of stuff that I'm talking about. I'm just like, it's the stuff that's not important. I don't think it's that important.
And the funny thing is that like people are so ready to get pissed off. They're so ready to be mad at you. They're so ready to think that you're an enemy that they won't see reason with the things that you say sometimes. No, and like even something as innocuous as I was talking about before, where I'm like, you know, a lot of people are really interested, or a lot of the conversation in gaming has been pulled away from like the cost and the value that we receive as a customer. And much of that has been now into this like social, you know, social politics kind of thing where they're talking about Sweet Baby Incorporated and, you know, DEI in gaming and stuff. And I had said in a video that, you know, I approach those two things, and while I think that there's a place to have those conversations, what I'm most concerned with is like the pricing of games and how year over year we're getting less game for higher prices, and a lot of it's being piecemealed to us in DLC or season passes or whatever it might be. And I had a whole group of people that were commenting on these videos and reaching out to me and saying, "Oh, so you think inclusion isn't a good thing? It's less on the totem pole because of the money that you want to spend." And it's like, no, you fucking idiot. That's not what I said. But the problem is like the minute that you start agreeing with one camp in one way, the other camp raises their torches. And it's just like, I just don't want any part of that shit, dude.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like just all the drama. I'm just kind of over it. Like I get like being upset about how a publisher is handling a game or how they're handling the community, stuff like that. I get, but like it's all the outside stuff that's not important that people are spending so much time bitching about. I mean, I had my fill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because the thing is that you know, then all of a sudden this stuff kind of gets championed. Like especially when I saw the like discourse that was kind of going around the changes to the outfits in Stellar Blade, and then all of a sudden people kind of run with it, and they're just like, you know, now we're getting the wokeness out of games and stuff, and like, well, like, okay, there's people that are probably going to disagree with me on this. I don't think it's as prevalent as people on the internet make it out to be. Like it's there. I'm not disagreeing that it's there.
No. I see where you're going. Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah.
But the way that it's discussed sounds like it's in every single game, and it's ruining everything that we touch. And while it does in those games, and like not every game that it does it to, but at the same time, it's just like it's always this. It's I don't know, man. It's always like this world, like the world is on fire kind of discussion. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I have a hard time like kind of wrapping my mind around it.
You know how I know that you're getting more and more successful, Ian? Is we've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and I've got people in Twitch and in YouTube going, "Who's the other guy?" Yeah, we're 90 eps in, and they're like, "Who's that guy?"
Okay. So, for any explanation for the people that are like newer to the channel, Mark, the guy that's over here, he is my podcast co-host. Crazy enough, this YouTube channel started with this. This is where it all started. It was me and him every weekend talking about video games on a podcast. And then one day I was like, okay, we're not getting a lot of viewership. I'm going to start writing essays and talk about games the way that I want to talk about games, and just do, edited long form videos. And then obviously things kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Super successful. Thanks to you guys in the audience.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody else for sure. But he's been here for 89 episodes, so he's not a stranger.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew a beard since the last time you saw me.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So reading from somebody in chat, they said, "Can you give takes on anime games and why they always seem to miss the mark? The games that were a game first, anime later, like Persona, seem to miss the mark."
What are you saying? The anime games that are made from anime miss the mark versus the games that are games and then become anime don't? Is that what you're asking for clarification?
Or just like anime style games in general? So I'm interested what you think about that.
Me? I think that's not okay. So I don't think every anime game is bad. Licensed, like you have to do it like if you were going to do movie games, right? Spider-Man, blah blah blah, whatever. The ones that are based on movies. But there are a lot of bad anime, like licensed anime games. Like I think the Sword Art Online games aren't great. But I think the Naruto games and the Dragon Ball Z games are really good. So I mean, it's a give and take. I think it has a little bit more to do with like what they tried to pull off. I mean, it's a lot more easy to be creative in an anime sense than it would be into a video game of actually programming them to do that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's easier to draw it than it is to have them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's difficult to meet the expectations of what you see in a TV show or what you see in an anime versus what you can realistically do in a video game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So like no matter what, you're going to probably disappoint fans in one way, shape, or form because you can't you just realistically can't do the crazy stuff. Like look at like One Piece as an example. Like I mean quite literally, like I'm not gonna spoil the series, but I mean right now if you're looking at like what Luffy can do, in the current series or current seasons of One Piece, it's like you're not gonna be able to gamify that. I'm sorry, like it's wild. So like it's gonna be difficult to be able to meet the expectations of the player. I think also at the exact same time, a lot of these like licensed games aren't necessarily looking for somebody to make a Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, massive.
Or
successful Dune, right, exactly. So like they're not looking to make like this massively successful game that's like really well made. All they're really caring about doing is just putting something else out onto the market that has the name on it for them to be able to make money in sales. You know what I mean?
It's a cash grab to go along with the actual the starting IP.
Yeah, but that's not to say that there aren't some games that have utilized their IPs and utilized it alongside a great game at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I would probably say the reason why you would see the latter of the games that the anime started out games before they became an anime or something like that, or just like maybe they don't even have an anime, it's just part of their whole thing. I think the reason why those games are more successful is just because it kind of goes back to that expectations thing. It's also the fact that it's not being licensed. So if it's not being licensed, chances are that means that there's less input from the person that owns the license. Which is going to limit what the developer can actually do with the game, what kind of themes they can have in the game, what the gameplay is going to be like. The more suits that are involved, the less likely you are to get a great product at the end of the day. And I think that probably has a lot to do with it as well.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get any Stellar Blade outfits in Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, Pikachu would like smoking. No, it's 100%. Like it also depends on. I think it has a lot to depend on how popular the anime is in itself. If it's going to be before the game, but I think, I mean, there's companies like Netflix that did with Cyberpunk and with Castlevania that did a knockout stellar job, but people were already fans of the game. You know what I mean? Like they were big fans of the game, and if I think they're big fans of the anime, I think they are more likely to be more disappointed with the game than they are with the game becoming anime. Just contextually, you're just going to, I think.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pull it off.
Because I mean, the thing is, you can't say like all anime games are bad or anime games don't hit the mark, because like Persona does really well. We really loved Code Vein. Code Vein was a sick game. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Dope. Yeah.
All the Tales series are great.
Yes.
And actually, the Tales anime was really good too. I think Tales of Symphonia had an anime, and it was really good. So I think
the Dragon Ball games are really good.
That's true. Really, yeah, I know. Like Dragon Ball Kakarot is like really, really popular. People really like that one. I haven't played.
Z Fighter is pretty good.
The only Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played wasn't even like licensed. It was just Mugen on PC. It was just like a game made by some people, like a community game that was sick. By the way,
it was the Risk of Rain mod. That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, there's that too. Yeah, we did play with the Risk of Rain mod as well. That's true. I forgot about that. But yeah. But back to the original conversation. Yeah, I'm just not like co-opting on a lot of that stuff, but I do think that there is some of that where like some of these developers are kind of blinded by how much criticism is out there and what is valid and what is not. And I think that, looking at a game like Diablo 4, like that was a case example of them not paying attention to the right criticism and understanding on a wider scale what players are really interested in. And I can't believe it took them this long to finally figure that out. But they did.
Yeah, but like
they did.
I think some of their woes are 100% self-inflicted of the target audiences that they were trying to go after. You know what I mean? They weren't going for the extremely hardcore. I mean, they're going for the blue collar dads, as people like to call people, but that's what they were going for.
The Diablo dads.
Yeah, the Diablo dads. That's who they were going after, and they made a game for no one at that point because they just kind of but yeah, I can't bring, like, I saw that you were playing it and I couldn't even bring myself to download it, even though I like everyone's saying it's good, it's back, it's this, it's that.
You would like it. You would like it.
Like,
I know you're still like, raising your nose up at it. I get it, but it's you'd like it. I've played games with you for
18 years. 18 years. It's been 18 years.
God. So I've been playing video games with you, Mark, before I could grow facial
have an
hair.
adult child now, okay? That's how long we've been playing games.
Yeah, I've been playing games with you since before I could grow facial hair. But you would like it. You'd like it. It's good. They did a good job with it so far. There's still some rough edges, some things that they need to iron out. But I would actually say that Diablo 4 in the state it is now is quite literally what we should have expected from a 1.0 launch of Diablo 4. So basically, people have been playing the game in beta for the last year.
Ugh.
I mean, I hate to say it like that. I hate to say that people paid $70 for a glorified beta more than anything else, and then, I know some people paid $90 or over $100 for it.
$100.
Yeah, but with that said, no, it's good. They did a really good job with it. I think specifically looking at just like it's the quality of life changes for me that they made with Diablo 4 are probably the most, are probably the things that I like the most. Just like towns are easier to get through. It doesn't take you nearly as long to be able to get through that kind of stuff. All of the vendors, just like in Diablo 3, are right on top of each other.
Yeah.
So like that alone is like a massive time saver. Like when you had to, and on top of that, like they changed the power of Codex of Power. Sorry, they changed the Codex of Power. So now instead, every time you're gonna love this. So before where you had to used to take a legendary item and then take it over to the Mystic and then have the Mystic pull off the legendary affix and then it would become a shard that would go in your inventory.
Yeah.
And you put them into your storage and pull them out when you want to put them on something you want.
Yep.
Yeah. So they got rid of that entirely. No longer do you need to go to the Mystic. Anytime you salvage equipment, it automatically will salvage whatever that legendary ability is.
Okay.
And it goes into an imaginary inventory that it's not an actual inventory. And what it does is it just upgrades whatever you have in your Codex of Power.
So it actually works as a codex then.
Correct. So basically, so just as an example, say that you get something that like increases whirlwind damage by 50%, right? And then later on, you end up finding one that says 55%. Well, when you salvage that 55%, it just upgrades the one in the Power of Codex permanently. It works more like Division 2 now. Their crafting system and the Codex of Power are kind of a mirror between Division 2 and Last Epoch.
Can I go download it?
Seriously, once you actually get your hands on it, you see how they change things, you'll be like, oh, wow, this is really good. Why the fuck didn't they do this at the beginning?
Did I see someone in the chat say that Bleach is past its prime?
Where are they at? So we can ban them.
Yeah, exactly.
Past its prime? What are you talking about? The newest season of Bleach, season of Bankai, is the best season ever. You get a Bankai. Everybody gets a Bankai. No, you don't need to ban them. I'm joking. Jesus.
They're like, I'm on it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Bam. So, what was I gonna say? But yeah, no, like overall, the just general improvements to Diablo 4 are actually impressive. I don't have anything to really bad to say about it. Like the only thing that I have bad to say is that, with the way that they changed it now, like loot on the ground is a little bit less important because you can just craft everything that you want, which makes it easier for you to be able to get your build online, but it also makes loot on the ground a lot less interesting.
I mean, the loot on the ground was a lot less interesting anyway. It wasn't very interesting anyway.
Yeah, but now they just kind of made it like really useless.
That's fair.
So like now it's like, what is the point of having blue? Like, especially with like how fast you level now, like there is literally no reason for you to ever pick up yellows or blues. There's no reason. Like you're literally going to just blow past those levels.
Did they add a loot filter yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not cool. Yet. I mean, they'll get there.
They'll get there. I mean, that $70 expansion's coming out, so.
Yeah, maybe it'll come with the expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll get a campfire that says we were thinking about putting in the expansion, but we're gonna have to wait till season 15.
Yeah. I mean, either way, but all the different changes are good. Now you're getting like these like boss summon materials all the time, so they basically make it where every single like seasonal boss that they've put in, you can go and summon and fight them, and there's always going to be some type of like permanent reward that they've kept from that whole thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. There's definitely some interesting flexibility with all of that. Now you can actually do like genuine bossing. They brought back greater rifts.
That's fair. I mean, that's the best part of Diablo 3.
I mean, quite literally, like the thing is that it's not even a criticism that I made. It's just one of the things that I talked about in a video that I made recently is that, Diablo 4 just felt like it was a game that was trying its best to pretend that it wasn't a sequel to Diablo 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay. All jokes aside, I enjoyed my story playthrough of Diablo 4. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed the cutscenes. A lot of their choices that they made. I mean, they had some really cool bosses to fight in the campaign, and to not be able to fight those bosses was, in dungeons was just kind of stupid. It was just a weird decision. But it was just that what is it, level 65-ish, and you just kind of like hit the brakes, just stop, and it was just brutal. It was brutal. It wasn't fun to play at the time. So I'll give it another shot, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm actually like, I've been really impressed with it. I don't really know what to say outside of that. Like, it really is just like that massive of an improvement, but like ahead of what it was like when it started. There's still a lot of things that they need to do. I think I'm never gonna like forgive the fact that they released a game in the state that they did. Well, and it's not even like it's not that it played in a bad state. Like, as a game, it was fine. Like, it really wasn't that buggy. It really didn't have a lot of issues or anything like that. It was a finished product. The only problem is that it was a finished product that just wasn't made for the target audience it needed. It was a game that lacked identity. You know what I mean? Like, you can still make a complete game that's decent, but doesn't really speak to any specific audience. And when you have a game that's a live service, when you have a game that's as, you know, storied as Diablo 4, like, that's a big miss to make, man. Like, how the fuck you pull that off? But they did.
It was a lot of water, but not very deep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was a very shallow game. So I mean, at least now it feels like they have a foundation in place, which is good. So I mean, we'll see what they can do with it from there. If they just continue to listen to the community the way that they should, then I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be able to pull it together. But and I'm probably gonna get some hate for this. It is what it is. I personally think that they need to lean harder in the direction of Diablo 3 and not Path of Exile, because you're just not gonna compete with that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I mean, Path of Exile, the first one, they're not going to compete with it. They've got too much of a head start. Honestly, they've just got too much of a head start on systems.
Well, no, I mean, for audience sake. Like, I wouldn't try to I wouldn't try to compete for the audience of players that play Path of Exile seasonally.
Yeah,
because they're just not
the same group.
They're not going to get the same kind of fulfillment that they get out of playing that game that they will from Diablo. Because I'll be honest with you, not trying to take a shot at like the Diablo team, but I just don't think that they have that kind of vision there. Nor do they have the kind of people that would green light the changes that would make the game, you know, that I don't want to say challenging, but I don't think that they have I don't want to say creativity, but I think probably vision's just the best word to use. I just don't think they have the vision for the kind of systems that exist in Path of Exile that keep players locked in for like months on end.
Yeah.
Like, Diablo needs to be that game that it's okay that its seasons are only going to keep people for like a week or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It needs to be that game. Like,
the consistency,
that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about playing Diablo 3 back in the day. Like, when you and I wanted to do a season on Diablo 3, we could drill that motherfucker out in like a couple weekends.
Yep, a couple weekends and done. Yeah,
that was it. You know, maybe we play a little bit on our off time when we're not playing together, and then, but yeah, for the most part, it's wild.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. It's unfortunate. We were both so super hyped for Diablo, and I'm not saying that neither one of us enjoyed it. We did enjoy the first playthrough, and then it just fell off. And I think we started when we got back to talking about it on the podcast. We were saying, like, you know, season, you know, 4, between 4 and 6 is probably where it's going to start being good. It's going to start feeling fun, you know.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's been the case, I guess.
Yeah. I one of the other things that I brought up too is that I think Diablo's biggest weakness is that they really did try to just copy Call of Duty with like Battle Pass and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't really think these kind of games suit that kind of monetization strategy or live service strategy. No. And 2, the game isn't interesting enough to be able to hold that kind of live service audience for them to make that kind of content to begin with. Like, the skins look stupid. The Battle Pass sucks. And especially after like all the hours I put into both like Helldivers and Warframe over the last few months, it really does blow my mind. Like, how so many companies that are out there like do live service so badly.
Yeah. I mean, if Diablo did their battle pass, well, like, it doesn't even need a battle pass, but if they did it to where Warframe does with the radio chick, I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. Nightwave, where you literally just do stuff. You just do stuff. You have certain goals, you just do stuff, and it unlocks cool stuff. I got a cool skin for the glaive. There's a mod in there that I want, and I think there's there's 2 mods. There's one for a gun that I want as well. That actually makes me want to play it to do it. I'm not having to pay it, because the stupid stuff that they had put in there with ashes and this and that is just like, it just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the game in general.
Yeah, well, because like, by extension, the Battle Pass is nerfing your ability to progress the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, and then plus on top of that, like, nothing in there is really all that interesting. I will say it's been an entire year and I used the free credit that I got to activate the battle pass in Diablo.
You weren't one of the first the people who like accidentally did it on the first season?
No.
I accidentally did it.
No. I think I played like 5 minutes of the first season and then quit. So I wasn't unlucky enough to do it. But it's one of those things, man, where it's just I think that they need to look internally at what they got going on over there, because especially with the way that like Microsoft has been over the last few months, I just can't see them continuing to like let that team pour that much time, effort, and people into Diablo 4 as a live service game if it's not turning out a major profit for them.
Well, I mean, they did just put it on Game Pass, so it's going to be making numbers now.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see. How pissed would you be if you bought Diablo 4 on Xbox and then fucking 4 months later, 4 or 5 months later, that entire purchase is now a fucking basically a free-to-play game on that service?
Yeah. The Diablo team, I think Microsoft's just going to leave them alone, to be honest with you. I think they're going to leave all of ABK alone because ABK is making 65% of the 61% increase in growth.
Oh yeah, they're making basically all of the money for Xbox right now. I think the other thing too is that like I can't believe that they're talking about. Did you see that apparently there's some like pretty strong rumors from some pretty irrefutable sources. They're saying that they're thinking about bringing Call of Duty to Game Pass, like the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, 5, 8,
17. Who cares? Oh, okay. There's a couple things I have about this. One, that's dumb. Okay. What they need to do for Game Pass is put all the old ones on there, fix the servers. Everyone will be playing the old games. Guarantee it, hands down. Everyone will want to get subscribed to Game Pass. They'll play it. What they're neglecting to understand is Call of Duty proper is not popular on PC. They play Warzone, but it's actually not that popular on PC. No. It's really not.
No.
And it's not like going like, so they're not going to be losing or gaining any subscribers on PC to get to PC Game Pass with a new offering on Call of Duty. They should still just sell it to their players if they want to play it, or they're going to and then sell it, obviously third party publish it. But I think what's going to end up happening is if they add Call of Duty in there, it's going to do what you had said, and they're going to add a tier. They're going to add a Call of Duty tax tier.
Yeah, no, I've seen there's like a bunch of people that are in chat right now. There's a few people that have said that both on Twitch and on YouTube chat, but basically the exact same time. They're like, they're going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass, and then they're going to put an extra tier that's for like very, specific, probably for like the third party major releases that they're going to end up having on Game Pass. But this is one of the things that I talked about. I popped on to a buddy's podcast last week because we didn't have ours, and they were talking about how dumb the controversy around Assassin's Creed is.
That is not dumb.
And well, they're talking about the race thing, and then also at the same time they're somehow mixing that in and convoluting it with the people that are complaining about the price, like $130 for the season pass edition and a $90 for another season pass day one edition. And it's like, if you want to have access to all content that this game serves day one, you either A, have to sign up for their subscription service, or B, have to pay $130. And that's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't.
You want to choke on a dog turd, or do you want to have a cat pee in your eyes? Which one do you want?
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. It's just like I don't really understand. Like, the thing is that I don't really like it when people want to like kind of suppress those conversations because it's a game that they like or the game that they're interested in. That shouldn't matter. Like, the price of games is getting out of fucking control. And the reason why it is because they want you to buy their subscription service. And the funny thing is, like, in the conversation that these guys had, they talked about that. Oh, why don't you just get the subscription service? And I brought it up to him. I'm like, look, my biggest problem with these subscription services is it's because we know what the end goal is. We know what's going to end up happening. It's going to be It's going to be a tiered service. It's going to be just like Hulu and Netflix. All these subscription services. Well, it hasn't happened yet. I don't give a fuck if it hasn't happened yet. What is that supposed to mean? How do you know Xbox is going to do it? What do you mean? How do I fucking know?
Oh God, I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
How much common sense does this isn't even critical thinking.
Like, okay, so Ubisoft has now just this year, within the last 3 months, shown a track record of wanting to sell you $130 games. That's the price point that they want. $130.
Yeah. And it shows, by the way. Point. But I don't think I don't know if you've seen this already, but the $90 and the $130 are outselling the other twos in pre-order. Or the base price in pre-order.
You see, so, folks?
It doesn't even matter that we we talk about these things, because obviously I'm on a smaller scale anyway, so it's not like everybody's listening to what I have to say. But
yeah, Gas Alpha says there's not even gameplay out, which is true. They've only shown a
crazy?
And they've already.
Could you imagine spending $130 on something for and that was one of the things. Like, oh well, you get the season pass with it. I saw somebody make the fucking argument that it's hypocritical to be okay with the fact that we are okay with spending $100 on Elden Ring plus its DLC combined, which, by the way, if you want to buy those complete, it's $79.99. That's what the combined price is if you want to go buy Elden Ring, the complete edition right now. And they're like, it's hypocritical that you would pay $60 and then be okay with the $39 DLC. Yeah. But it's all of a sudden a problem when Ubisoft wants to sell $130 for it. And it's like, yeah, because one, it's fucking Elden Ring. Two, we already know what the game is and the gameplay's like because we've played the fucking game.
Yeah.
And three, it's not $130.
Yeah. Like what's also, I talked to you about it a little bit earlier. What's even crazier is in the UK. That's where it's done it. The $280 edition has sold out. Completely sold out. Completely. You don't even know what the game looks like.
I said fucking crazy. It couldn't even watch it. It's literally no gameplay. It's all cutscenes. There's actually no game.
It's going to be a side scroll. It's actually a side scroller. Enjoy your $130 side scroller.
My God. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing is that you have to understand that the vocal not vocal minority, the silent majority is what it is. They're out there just buying games, man. They just see, oh man, I like my Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna get the next Assassin's Creed, and they just go ahead and buy it. And I don't know. It is what it is.
Fucking Ben and Twitch. Do you want more money or not? That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
How the fuck? I love this. Cosmic Spawn. How the fuck is a digital product sold out?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not getting a disc. You're probably going to get a disc with this. So
the $280 edition does have a statue. It does have some actual stuff.
A statue of a character that you don't even know if
but you don't even know if you like yet. Yeah, you may hate that character.
Yeah, what if you play the game and you're like, man, this dude sucks. I hate this guy. And then
don't get me wrong.
Look at the statue. Look at the statue of your misdeeds.
We call that the dope.
Statue of regret.
I give it that. The statue's dope. It's got a it's got a samurai all posed up, and the assassin sneaking up behind him, about to jump off a cliff. It's pretty dope looking, but it's not $280 dope looking. So
no, it's so crazy.
Did you see the the backlash Neil Druckmann got for his AI talk with Sony? His AI, it was like an interview with Sony.
No, I didn't see anything on that.
So
what happened? Do tell.
It got taken out of some of his stuff. I went through, I don't like talking about stuff. You stream every day, news stuff. And you do a really good job of sifting through some shit before you talk about it.
Yeah.
But like the problem when stuff like this comes out is people just jump on it and start beating the person up, and then like 2 days later, it's not a thing anymore because it's not what it was initially thought.
Yeah, I usually try to give things a couple days sometimes,
Yeah.
just because I don't like.
And-
there's probably going to be something that's going to come out to refute it, and I want to look at it from both sides.
But even your girl Alana Pierce came out and said she will never work for a company that uses AI in their video games or buy a game for whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the dude basically just said that he thinks AI is going to help creators create. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And her being a voice actor plus working, you know, with the God of War team and all that, whatever she's doing, I guess is upset about it. The community is upset about it. You know, like here's what's crazy as gamers. Like we start to like, this is one of those conversations. Like, do I care? Do I care if a character is AI voice acted? Do I care? Honestly,
specifically on AI voice acting? Is that
no?
what,
it's just
everything.
It's just everything.
Like AI is going to help the game industry.
The general, and then everybody just bombed on to the voice acting, to this, to that. You know, everything else.
I mean, so like along with that, like keep in mind, look at Unreal Engine 5. Like there's so many different things that utilize AI to be able to like replicate things on a map, and for them to be able to use like textures and shaders and all that stuff. There's all kinds of different types of AI. I think the problem is that like AI is just kind of turned into a buzzword, and people are, putting it into oh man, just wait till you see this AI lighting, this AI this, the AI that, because they just want investors to get involved. That's really all it kind of comes down to.
I mean, did you see iRobot with Will Smith? That's happening.
Yeah.
So, no, but like, so yeah, he got basically drugged through the dirt on being taken out of context. What was edited out of his messaging was just taken out of context, and of course Twitter went upset.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When it comes down to, like, I think that you're going to have some people that are going to virtue signal over the whole AI stuff. But at the end of the day, if the end consumer is getting a superior product because of using these type of technologies, we're not going to really give much of a shit. Like, you're going to listen, like, does it suck? Do I feel bad for the people that lose their jobs as a result of technology outpacing them? Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for them. That sucks. It is, but at the end of the day, is that going to stop me from buying something? No. If it's a really good video game and I'm going to have a good time playing it, like, I'm going to play it. I think it's just really stupid that there's a lot, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like too
industry always bucks technology. Like automation destroyed Detroit. There's no arguing that. That's fact. Destroyed Detroit. Warehousing is becoming more and more automated. Amazon is almost nothing but robots, and then you have the people that they like to fire within 2 years, so they don't have to give them a raise. You know what I mean? Like there are some bad sides to adding AI or automation into your industry, but I think that's like what he's talking about is this AI is adding an automation into the industry of making stuff faster. So
yeah. So like the thing is that like I see like Xeon in chat, like the AI slop will be just fine for the masses. The thing is that like we can call it slop for now. Like technology always gets better. I've never really been able to wrap my mind around the idea that people think that it's going to stay as what it is and it doesn't get progressively better and better. I mean, the thing is that like back in the day with cell phones were like the size of a fucking brick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were. They
literally
were your car's console.
Yeah,
like
so like
they console.
were. Yeah, they were unwieldy. Nobody could have them. Most people couldn't afford them. It didn't look like it was going to be in a very approachable technology at all. Now every single fucking person has one. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, sure, you can say that for now until it gets better. And even if you look back at just over the last few years of how quickly this technology's advanced, it's advanced at a wild rate. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at it from a gaming sense. Okay, when the Xbox One came out, it came out bundled with the Kinect, and everyone was upset. It was the government listening to them. It was this and that and whatever. And now every person has an Alexa in their home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it listens better. It picks your voice up. It does everything it's like you would want it to do.
Yeah.
But they were just early. And
Yeah.
that's just the
And
early part of it.
the thing is that like again, at the end of the day, I think that people are like, they feel like they care about it, but if you know, let's say 5 years from now or 10 years from now, a game comes out and it's great and you had a really good time playing it and you're like, holy shit, this game was awesome. And then somebody's like, did you know that it's all AI voice acted and that all of this was designed by AI, or this is all AI assisted? You're not going to be like, is it? I don't like it anymore. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you see a bunch of people playing something that's right up your alley, and you're just going to play it. You're going to play it. Or buy it or watch it or whatever it is. You know, whatever kind of media that's going to be, you know, made from this. Like right now it looks cheap. Right now it looks repetitive until it breaks out of that and people understand how to use it properly. I think I think the biggest problem is that I think that when people talk about AI, one of the things that immediately comes to mind is something that's going to do all the work for you. And in a lot of cases, a lot of people do approach AI like that. They approach using it as they don't approach using it as a tool. They approach using it as a one button press solve all.
Yep.
But that's not what it is. You know what I mean? Like that's not how you're supposed to use it. But if you take somebody that's already talented, that already knows what they're doing, and they use it as a tool to be able to create a better product, you're not going to be complaining about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to flip flop on this, but let's finish up that Call of Duty talk. What do you think the ramifications for Xbox would be if they do day and date Call of Duties?
So it's gonna be bad, but it's not gonna be that bad. So it's like it's there's a lot of okay. So approaching the topic just from, you know, straight on, Call of Duty makes most of its money post-sale.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that the money that they make from the initial sale is worthless. We're talking about one of the most purchased games, the most purchased game year over year since 2009.
Yeah.
Since 2009, Call of Duty games have been the most purchased game year over year over year. Did they win a bunch of awards? They don't need to. They made all the money.
Yeah.
The only game that they've lost to was Hogwarts Legacy last year.
Yeah.
That was the first time. That was the first time since 2009 that they weren't the top-selling game for the entire year worldwide. Yep. So, with that said, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table, and what you then have to hope is that you're somehow going to offset those sales by making the game free for the players that want to play it on Game Pass. Yeah. And even though it's not free, it's part of like the Game Pass subscription. Yeah. I don't think the install base is high enough on Xbox for it, and I don't think it's going to drive enough people to Xbox Game Pass to play it in the first place.
All right.
Especially when PlayStations are like outselling Xboxes, like what is it, 5-1?
It's 5-1. Here's what I think is it's not going to make people not buy it on PlayStation. If you're on PlayStation, you're more than likely going to buy it. If you bought a PlayStation to play Call of Duty, you're going to continue to do so. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. Microsoft,
you're going to play where your community is. You don't care. It's not about it's more about the ecosystem than it is about anything else. And what Xbox wants to do is try to get more people to adopt their ecosystem. But like, I mean, if you're already invested in Sony, you're probably not going to be trying to jump ship just to get
$70 break.
Just to pay monthly to play Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think in the long term, I think you're right. It's not like they're not going to be losing a whole lot of sales. They're probably going to see a gain in subscriptions within their own install base, within their own install base. But I think that's going to be it. To be honest with you, it's just that's just going to be the people who are already in their install base, which is already small. So, yeah, not much of a change, I guess. I mean, they got their show coming up soon, so hopefully we get to see that Fable game.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Well, here's the thing too, is that like they're already in trouble to begin with. Like the only thing that's going to be producing money for them right now is going to be Activision Blizzard. because from what I've seen, and I just looked at this recently, the vast majority of all of their games that they have slated coming out for the next few years, all have been in development hell. All of them. Not a single one of them has not been. The only one that wouldn't be is the only one that they haven't really talked about, which would be like the next Gears of War game.
Yeah, that's rumored to be that what they're gonna bring up at the show.
Chances are, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're also interesting while we're talking about Xbox. This is another Twitter drama. I guess it's rumored that Doom 0, which is the next Doom game, is going to be multi-plat, and I have absolutely zero problem with that. Going multi-platinum or multi-platinum, multi-platform.
Yeah, no,
it's too niche of a game to not try to sell it to as many people as possible.
And I think that's what they're going to do with a lot of their games. To be honest, Xbox is only like a couple more years off before they just straight up just become a third party. Just a third party publisher.
Just do it.
Like, what's the point? Like, just give the games to PlayStation, man. Like, what are you doing in this console war to begin with? Like, just drop the consoles.
Is it a war if you're in the corner in like the fetal position getting hit with a stick? Is it a war at that point?
No, it's just a straight up beat down.
It's a straight up.
You're not gonna catch Nintendo, and Sony has too much market dominance, and you're losing so much money in Game Pass right now that it just doesn't make a lot of sense to continue losing money on the consoles as well.
Yeah. So. To me, honestly, and I see Xeon in the chat kind of bringing it up. I'm not an Xbox hater. I'm not a Microsoft hater. I don't like PlayStation either. I think both of these console makers, with their games and everything else, this generation have been terrible. It's not been a good generation. No. I mean, their highlights are Helldiver 2 for PlayStation. Ragnarok was decent. But like, it's just this generation has just been underwhelming. Speaking of the Call of Duty stuff, with that, they are extending that to the PlayStation 4 as well. Do you think that's going to? I mean, that's just for sales. That's all it is for sales, because people haven't jumped ship. Even with the PlayStation 5, it's not selling super great. Even though it's outselling Xbox, it's still not selling PlayStation standard great, right? So they've got they're putting the newest Call of Duty is going to be on the PlayStation 4, and it makes you wonder what's like. Is it gonna hold that game back a little bit creatively, because you know what I mean, for scope wise, for what that PlayStation 4 can do, or is the PS5
that's
not
one of
that
the things
much?
Did you see that, like, Destin Liguri tweeted about that like the other day, and he's like, one of the reasons why like people are talking about why like certain consoles aren't doing as well as they are is specifically because the reason that like the vast majority of games are still available on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Like, most games are getting released on those. I mean, for the most part, like, everybody's already kind of migrated on Xbox's side. They've already migrated to Xbox Series S and X.
Yeah.
But not on Sony. Sony's side, they still have a very, very large PlayStation 4 audience. And to be honest with you, the thing is that do you guys really see like the next console generation being like that much of a step up in graphical fidelity and performance to really even justify moving into a PlayStation 6 or a Xbox whatever? Yeah. Like, whatever fucking
their marketing on their marketing names are terrible. No, I just like it makes sense from a business standpoint to still sell to the PS4 audience, because it's a huge 120 something million consoles, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a big audience to sell to, so it makes sense. But like, this is a long time. 5 years into a generation. What is it? 2020? So 4 years.
I'm already seeing like the people in chat. Like, can you imagine? How do you think people are going to react if they cannot do a locked 60 on the next series of consoles?
Oh.
Could you imagine if the next series of consoles come out and they're still talking about fucking
they're gonna give them that excuse. It's an artistic choice to make it 30.
Get the fuck out of here. No, it's a fucking hardware limitation and poor programming. It goes on both sides. there's plenty of games that come out on PC that even if you have the power and ability to be able to run them at
Oh
high
yeah,
frames,
that run
they still
like
can't.
dog shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
they still run like dog shit.
Dragon's Dogma is a really good example of that.
Oh, Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's just weird. Like 4 years into the new cycle, and that they're still supporting the last generation, which is kind of odd for Sony. But I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is probably going to be that game that goes next gen only. It's going to force people to buy new consoles that haven't made that purchase yet.
Yeah. I mean, if I were them, I would just upgrade to a PlayStation 5 because they're going to continue to serve that audience too.
Yeah, that's right. And he sure will.
You know what I mean? Like, why I just buy the PlayStations when they're half off, buy PS5 when they're half off, and you'll have a fine time. Because the chances are you're not going to see that big of a, not that big of a performance and quality gap. Is going to be like, I just personally looking at like the 40 series cards, like I don't even see like a major difference between the 40 to 50 series. Like whenever the 50 series cards get released.
Yeah, I'm curious on that as well.
Like what else can you fucking do? Like I'm sorry, but like my game, like I'm playing on a 3080. My games look fucking sick.
Yeah.
I remember back when fucking Dragon's Dogma 2 came out, and I was getting so much shit because people are like, you have a mid-range PC. And I'm like, I have a fucking 3080. What do you mean mid-range? That's not fucking mid-range. Your fucking mom is mid-range.
He said your mom. No, like I think going forward, it's going to be a mix of hardware and software, like that 3.5 and 3.7 DLSS.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Frame generation's a big deal. And I think that's where it's going to be at. So I think the next consoles might be able to, if they incorporate, actual, instead of trying to use FSR with AMD, actually go to like DLSS. It might actually help quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's probably gonna be more like 50 series is gonna probably really heavily rely on like AI technologies to like make up for deficiencies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All I want, you know what I want? I want a GPU that can scan the game and like fix the bottleneck that the like dumbass developers put in there.
Yeah, the inevitable CPU.
Yeah, the inevitable CPU bottleneck that's just like, why is my GPU utilization 50%? Please stop this.
That was Dragon's Dogma. I was so flipping mad. I pulled up my stats, and my GPU was like 30%. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. Stop this. So anyway, obviously been playing a lot of Warframe.
God,
I can't believe that I already have over 300, or not 300. What am I saying? How many hours do I got? 216.
All right, it's 300 hours. I was gonna go. Yeah, okay there, bud.
I'm gonna get there. I'll be there next week probably.
You won't be there next week.
Fucking bet.
I fucking bet you. I'm betting right now.
Fucking bet.
I'm at 201.1 hours.
201.1 hours.
Yeah.
And you'd played the game before I did.
Yeah. I played a lot of it on console, and I didn't carry that account over, and Steam doesn't care.
I didn't realize how like, so there's a group of folks, and I actually don't blame them for it, but I think it's just I just think they misunderstand the technology behind Warframe. But I didn't realize that like you can't just like freely transfer. I don't think you can freely transfer accounts from PC to console. It doesn't have that kind of portability. I thought it was just like a login screen like any other fucking live service game or MMO. You know what I mean?
No, you can link the accounts to where you have access to it. So you pick a main account, and you select which one you want as the secondary, and it'll link the stuff that's in the secondary to the first account. Does that make sense?
They recently added the ability to merge accounts. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, but the problem is I can't remember my login and password for the old account to be able to log into it to allow it to link. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, I've already got all the stuff that was in there. I'm good. So
yeah. One of the other things too is that like I recently saw like my 200-hour review video that I put out yesterday or day before yesterday. If you guys haven't watched it, make sure you guys go do. But on my 200-hour review, one of the things that I was talking about was or no, I wasn't talking about it. One of the comments that I've been seeing pop up recently is like people that are really like critical over Warframe. One of the things that they're the most critical over is like its server and matchmaking.
Really?
Because because Warframe's peer to peer.
Yeah, sometimes that pisses me off.
It's not dedicated servers, it's peer to peer.
Yeah.
I personally don't really run into very many issues. Every once in a while, I'll run into somebody that either is playing the game on mobile or I don't know, in Australia or something. I guess I log into
that's a real country to just throw out there.
Well, no, I'm just saying like something that's like as far as possible from me. You know what I mean? Because like and it's easy to tell because when I log in and like it's like I don't know, Sanctuary Onslaught or something, literally everybody's running in place. Like nothing's even loading.
Yeah. I run into a lot of that. Mainly I run into that in Onslaught more than I do running into it like when I load into a node. It seems like when you load into nodes, for the most part, it feels like I catch host. You know what I mean? Like I hit it and then it finds people instead of just like jumping into a mid-match. But Onslaught is irritating, especially when you get into the higher levels of it or higher difficulties, and you've got your flow just cooking, and then the host bails out, and now you have to start over from scratch. But you're still surrounded by everything that you were surrounded by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it becomes irritating.
Yeah. So with Warframe, I'm actually really looking forward to next week, like not doing any story stuff and just kind of taking a break from it because I kind of want to like digest because like
I got my my launcher.
Your what? Oh, you finally got your Arcwing. Good for you.
I went and got it. Yeah.
Good for you.
Got it.
Good for you. Yeah. Somebody actually sent me a necromech, so I got that too.
Oh, nice. Well, you have to. Hey, don't hate, but I bought mine because I wanted to play New War and I didn't want to just grill one out just to be able to play it. So
yeah, I don't blame you. Though I think it's actually probably a good thing that they have it like that. That if players want to, they can go do that because it's a good like way to get players to start grinding the reputation a little bit because you kind of need to at one point in time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So. But I don't really like games that want to like lock stuff behind that kind of progression at the same time. So it's kind of like I don't know, screwed if you do, screwed if you don't kind of situation.
Yeah.
But
from what I understand, the necromech stuff isn't like extremely hard to get though.
I think it's just running. I think it's running vaults on Deimos. I think you're like on the planet, like the actual planet vaults. You have to actually run. And it's just like a quest that you can just kind of repeat over and over and over again and get everything you want. And plus, on top of that, I think that's actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how you actually get the mods for it, the necromech mods.
Oh yeah, I was wondering. It has like fucking 800 mod slots, and I don't have any mods.
Yeah, because you have to run those vaults to be able to get that stuff.
Well, you know what we're gonna be doing? Running vaults.
When?
I'm good right after the podcast. I don't work tomorrow.
Oh, you don't?
So, no.
Good for you, buddy. Yeah, let's play some games after the podcast. I'm good with that. Yeah, for sure.
There's a good question
in necro or the vaults.
There's a good question from Pella the Hero. He asked, "Are you starting to feel fatigue / burnout after 200 hours, and why you think so?"
No, actually. So I'm really good about this. Like I've gotten better at it. I wasn't very good at it for a long time. But I can recognize signs of fatigue, and I just make sure that I go play something else or I go do something else.
Yep.
If I see myself starting to get like bored with the game or something like that, I'm very quick to just like not push myself too hard on it. Yeah, Balatro is a really good example. I haven't played Balatro like when I first got it, I put like 150 hours into the game within like the first few weeks. I haven't really played it a whole lot since then, but every once in a while I'll be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to play some Warframe. Before that, I'm just going to kind of chill. I'm going to play a little bit of Balatro, maybe watch a YouTube video or something like that. I'm really good at making sure that I'm doing my best to like try to mix things up because I think that's just kind of the best thing that you should do with a lot of these games. I think a lot of people really kind of dial in when it comes to MMOs, and they will destroy themselves over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
our buddies do that all the time. Cody and Ryan, they do it all the time.
Oh my God, they're so bad with it.
We'll get a game. We'll get a game. We'll jam one weekend, okay, and be like, all right, we'll see you guys next Friday. Whoop, whoop. and we'll come back and they had no lifed it, 16 hours a day all the way through. Like, yeah, we're already done. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, quite literally. Well, I mean, like both, we have a couple friends, both of them are unemployed and, live on disability. And so like games is just what they do basically all the time, right? And there's some times where we'll be like, hey man, we're all getting this game. We all got the game at the same time. We all started playing it together. And then Mark and I, I'm back. I mean, even still now, like I still work, right? I still stream and stuff like that. And I'm writing videos and doing research and whatnot. So like I still work. So I'm not like down to play the game every single night because I just can't realistically do that with certain games. But yeah, we'll be like, all right, yeah, we'll hit this up next weekend. We'll play on this date, on this day or whatever. And then we come back and these dudes have quite literally just like slammed the game and are so far ahead of us that it doesn't even make sense for us to even play with them. And if we did, they would just grab us by our noses and drag us through the fucking game. And it's just like, dude, nobody wants that. Like, why, bro, can't you go play something else? But they basically like, they'll just get hooked on a game for a little bit. They'll drill it until they're tired of playing it. And then they won't play it anymore.
Yep.
But yeah.
I started to feel a little bit of that itch when I was trying to finish up the nodes to get into the still path. I was just like just get there, and then when I hit that still path punch in the face, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for somebody to come help me. I need help on still path. So yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. That's actually one of the reasons why I went and played Diablo 4 for a little bit, was because I was like, you know what, I've been like really grinding away at Warframe. I think I need to go and like play something else for a little bit. And I just went ahead and just, hopped on Diablo 4. I saw a lot of people were saying they were having a good time with it. So I was like, all right, we'll see what it is. And yeah, I mean, dude, it took me like next to no time to hit like World Tier 4. Of course, like I'm just gonna keep drilling it out. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well,
Yeah.
We'll keep farming it until I get bored of it, because I know eventually I will. And yeah, so like I use like palette cleansers pretty frequently, so it doesn't really bother me that much. I haven't felt any burnout or anything like that. No.
Yeah, I've been thinking about picking up. Well, we already own it, but just installing B Rising and checking it out.
Oh yeah,
Again,
yeah.
Just as a throw in the mix.
Oh man, like the only thing is that it's so funny that I look at games like I'm okay with playing an MMO right now, but then I look at like a survival game and I'm like, bro, that's just gonna fucking.
Well, you've got so there's some stuff coming up. I mean, we've got the Elden Ring, June 21st. I think that's when it comes out, June 21st. DLC, and then right after that, you're gonna fall right back into Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I don't know. Like, I'm probably not going to do Final Fantasy 14 the week that it comes out. I might end up getting pushed because it just depends on like how far I'm into, Elden Ring and and then also still playing Warframe. I don't think I told you this. Digital Extremes is sending me to TennoCon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so in July, I'm going to be going to London, Ontario to go to TennoCon.
If you don't get me a t-shirt, you are a true piece of shit.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, I mean, I got to here's the thing. If you got a passport, the ticket I have is for my team.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you want to be my cameraman.
Yeah. When is this?
July 21st, but we're there for like the whole
send
week.
Me the deets.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be fun. I get to interview some of the developers. Hopefully, gonna get some time to sit down with Space Mom and the community manager, and then I'll be able to check out the event and stuff like that. It'll be really cool. Really good opportunity. First time ever doing something like this. So.
I'm
pretty
awesome,
excited,
dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So this is really funny, but I think like this might be like, I don't know, maybe like the first or second podcast or something like that, or maybe it was when Mark and I finally stopped like trying to script podcasts and we just like talked more naturally. And one of the things that we talked about was like why I wanted to do all this stuff to begin with, like why I wanted to start a podcast, why I wanted to start making YouTube videos and all that stuff, and why I wanted to get like involved in gaming. and that I hoped that one day I would pop off. And the reason why I hoped I pop off is for two
Free
things.
games.
Yep. One was free games, and the other one was to be was to like finally start going to like some of these conventions and cons and stuff like that.
You better
And
be.
now-
You're gonna have to. When's the fucking Warframe 1999 come out?
I don't know anything about it. I'm doing my best to not know anything about it because apparently I need to not know anything about it until after New War and then the other quests that are in the game, because there's something with that. So
there is something with that. So
yeah. So I like, and the thing is that all the details, Mark, all the details for 1999 are going to be at TennoCon.
Okay, cool.
So there's going to be like a major reveal for that. I would imagine there's probably going to be a major reveal for Soulframe as well.
I think I need to watch some more video on that. Can you put up some gameplay of it? Do they have any kind of videos
of Soulframe?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
While we're talking,
yeah, I actually I reacted to some of the gameplay and stuff on stream, and it looks, I'm gonna be real, it looks stunning. I think that overall it's a like really cool direction and idea. I think this is going to be a live service as well, so it's going to be another one that they're going to run alongside. I think they're going to be running this alongside Warframe, but this is going to be basically like,
it's like Path of Exile 2 is running alongside Path of Exile.
Kind of, yeah. That's actually a pretty smart way to look at it. Yeah.
Yep.
But this is going to be basically like Fantasy Frame is basically what it is, or like Dark Souls Frame. I don't think the Soul is really like trying to pull off of Dark Souls, but when you look at like some of the combat and kind of the environment and stuff like that, it definitely still has that unique Digital Extremes flair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It still has that
stuff
very
on the guy's arm and shit.
Yeah, like it still has that like very distinct Digital Extremes look that you just don't see anywhere else.
Can you still bullet dive?
I don't know. You don't see any of that in this, so I don't think so.
God,
it's going to be a slower game, but this one's being built to be a slower game. You know what I mean? Where I think that like the original Warframe wasn't really built for that, and this one will. And I can't imagine that players, like Warframe players, want like, I don't know if I'd want a game like this to have that kind of movement.
No, I was making a joke, but yeah.
Especially because this one seems to be much more focused on the melee combat than anything else.
Which would be cool. I mean, I like the melee combat in Warframe, but it's God, I wouldn't say generic. It's just very simple. You know what I mean? It's just like chop, 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 chop.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get this.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be free to play as well, I believe.
Really?
It's got some unique mechanics and stuff like that. I just don't know exactly what it's gonna be like. I've talked to a few people that said that they've been playing it in its like alpha phase or testing phases and stuff like that. I'll probably get access to it, before too long, and then be able to check it out myself and see what's going on with it. But no, I mean, overall it looks good. The combat looks good, and it just I think it's gonna be a good game. I think in general,
I think
we'll see what they'll do with it.
I think they need to charge $130 because that's the going rate of games nowadays. So
yeah, no, they need to sell it for 130. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah. Or at least the microtransactions should be like $130
or they'll like you just buy a Digital Extremes account.
No, dude, you know what you need to do? Like so many developers are sleeping on the strategy that Star Citizen is using. I mean, like being able to make it where like the more money you spend will actually unlock tiers of stores that you don't have access to until you spend enough money. Did you know that's a thing?
I like it.
So with Star Citizen, if you spend up to like 10 grand, it'll unlock a new store that has more things for you to buy.
That is genius.
And then if you pay even more, then you'll actually unlock the premium it's not, because like the first stuff is like founders stuff, right? Okay, now you're a founder. And then it's like, I think at like the last one, you're like a board member or something like that. I forgot what it's
You're
called.
the CEO.
Yeah, like they give you like some title and stuff, you know, as a result of it. But you can there's one of the tiers that you can only unlock access to that store and what it sells if you spent at least $25,000.
Oh my god. I'm just saying, Digital Extremes needs to hop on this train. I mean, that's pretty smart. Could you imagine having a $25,000 Warframe?
Yeah, see, the only problem is though, is that like these guys are doing it wrong. If it was me, I would be doing what they did, except for it would be all anime waifus, and that's what you would ride as spaceships. And depending on how much money.
Oh, the cannons are coming around. Oh. Yeah.
Depending on how much money you spend, you know, it depends on like how big some of their like how big the payloads are and like where your cockpit is.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Huge cockpit. Huge.
Could you imagine it's just like it's literally just like a tube that's like just inserted in her cleavage that's like flying through space.
Oh shit!
$25,000. Don't worry about it. $25,000. Here's the crazy thing though: is if you get into the VIP club after spending $25,000, you then get to see everybody else's ship naked.
You know what? Sold. Sold. Where's my wallet?
Dude, what'd I say? I keep telling people, man, like one day, just put me in the helm. I'll make you guys some games. I'm gonna make you some awesome games.
Eventually, they're gonna make like a Sims game to like you actually go to the ATM and you put in a card and you put in your PIN and it's actually attached to your bank account.
Yeah,
like it's just how it goes.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, no. So like Soulframe looks really good. I like their menu system. Like I think this looks really cool.
I like how it's kind of like a whimsical high fantasy look to it. Yeah. With a little bit of science fiction. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you know what the thing is that it's like very familiar yet foreign at the exact same time. So like there's familiar elements in it, but then it's also like very like kind of there's like high tech meets I don't want to say like steampunk. That's not what it really is. I don't know. It's
fantasy
interesting
punk.
though.
It's fantasy punk.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna call fantasy punk.
But yeah, no, so I like the direction that they're going in with Soulframe. I'm interested to, get my hands on it at one point. I'm hoping there might be like some type of tech demo over at TennoCon this year. That'd be kind of nice to be able to get my hands on it.
Dude, it'd be super dope if you got like early access into the beta and alphas and stuff that they put out. That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, hopefully they have like a creator program and stuff. I can actually get my logo in game.
Can you?
Yeah, you're like your little thing next to your name. That I can get that in there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to be able to do that. I think that would be pretty sick, especially because I already have like a fucking dope ass like.
Wow.
I think that I love the logo for the channel, so I think it's one of those things where it's like, like they're gonna give a code for it, and then I'm gonna hope to try to make sure that I don't make it like accessible, and I'm just gonna like sell it to viewers for like $5 a pop.
And then they're gonna be like, "Where's the waifus you promised?"
Don't worry, they're coming. They're coming soon.
Where's the waifus?
They're coming soon. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, like obviously I've progressed quite a lot in the old Warframer. I've gotten pretty far.
I ground out. I think I've got 8 prime Warframes now.
Nice. No, I don't think I have that many. I've been doing fucking relic cracking. We haven't had a relic cracking night, so we got to do that soon. Maybe we'll do that tonight. We'll do some relics. We'll do some demos. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. I got to do some more stuff on demos. There's some mats that I'm needing for the for something that I can't talk to you about. So
got you.
Yeah.
What's your mastery rank? 16, 15, something like that. I'm close to 16, I think.
14 and a half.
So what was I gonna say? So yeah, no, I've gotten through Did you do Chains of Horror?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
That was interesting. It was kind of like it was a, I wouldn't say it's like a social topic deal, but it basically was understanding what it would be like if an operator was had autism. You know what I mean? And
Well,
how
it's kind of like a look inside the mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still
And
listening
so
to you. Hold on.
it was still kind of like, I thought it was interesting how they handled it, to just kind of explain to people who aren't, aware about autism or severe autism, at least, of how how brains work and how they see things and how they can't tell what emotions are and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty neat. It's going to play later on. Yeah. 14 and in New War. Yeah, I did, Junior. I already finished New War. And it was hard. The oh, he can still hear me. I can't talk about I've actually done a really good job of not telling him anything about Warframe.
Yeah, you're better than my fucking chat.
Nothing. I've told him absolutely nothing. The only things that I have told him, I was like, hey, this will be good to stream. This will be good to stream.
Yeah, yeah, you're better than my chat. Like sometimes there's like people in chat that'll pop in and be like, "Have you unlocked your operator yet?" It's like, what if I didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I didn't? Have you unlocked this yet? Even what the funny thing is, I almost kind of wish people never have mentioned Steel Path.
Yeah. To be honest with you,
because here's the thing. I'm like, this is how easy it is to be able to make a deductive. Like, I'm just gonna use this as an emulation. This is how easy it is to use deductive reasoning to figure out what people are saying it is. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that the entire star map is going to get reset, and then I have to progress the star map again, but it's at a higher difficulty that then ramps up in difficulty. How hot, how cold? Am I hot or cold?
I'm not talking to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's not hard to take one thing that people say and be able to, like, use reasoning to understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not hard for me to do something like that. So it's like when people think like, oh, I'm being cheeky, when I'm like, no, you're not fucking cheeky. You just spoiled it, you piece of shit. Now you're banned.
You just ruined my game.
You're fucking banned, bitch. Bam! So I really like Chains of Horror. It wasn't just the it wasn't just like the narrative was really cool. I really like the direction that they went in with that. I think that was really thoughtful in the way that they approached a topic like that. But beyond that, I think one of the things that I really liked the most about it was that it was like one of the first quests that basically it's one of the first quests that made me slow down.
Yeah.
And like just slowly walk through the ships and stuff like that. And I was really impressed with like the lighting. And I guess apparently people told me like that's what the old school lighting was before all the major updates that they've made over the years. Like this is what like base Warframe used to look like, was like these like dark maps, and because they were dark, it was kind of the whole like stealth mechanic and stuff like that in the game. And man, I really like I'm hoping that they've used more lighting techniques and stuff like that in the future, because it would be nice for them to do some things to kind of slow us down from time to time.
Yeah.
Not something that needs to be forced. It's something that needs to feel natural. But the problem is that like I'm always racing through this game, and I would like some moments where it's like, hey, you should probably slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if you've done it or not, but the Zeraman quest line has, to me, is probably the most visually impressive in the game, of like the ship and the way all ships and the way everything looks and the levels. And I think it's probably because it's more of a newer content, but it looks really, really good. Looks really, really good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking.
I enjoyed New War. Someone asked me what I rated it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's probably my favorite so far.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it's kind of like playing a $60 game inside of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it felt like a full like campaign. It was nice. I liked it. It's dope.
Let's see here. Mr. Pizzas with the $50. Is that 50 pesos? I think that sounds about right.
50.
Either way, thank you for the super chat. Steve says they're gonna try to add ray tracing to Warframe and Soulframe in the future. That's cool.
I hope not.
You know, I mean, as long as it's optional.
Yeah. The game runs so good, so buttery smooth, and I could both of us on our rigs could afford to eat that ray tracing cost on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't need to play the game at 280 frames per second like I'm playing right now.
But it's nice.
But it's nice.
It's really nice to see. It's really nice to see that up at the top left of my screen and see how many frames I'm getting. And I'm like, yeah, boy.
But consoles definitely would not get that option. Of ray tracing.
No.
I mean, they can barely run unray traced games at 30 frames right now. So
yeah, you're not wrong. So what else did I do? Oh, and then I did the War Within. I did the War Within.
That's a good one too. I enjoyed it. That was such a good narrative flop, or just like a switch.
Yeah. It was definitely not. It wasn't expected. Getting the actual operator form and stuff like that was fucking wild. I'm not gonna lie. Like, especially because the thing is that like that first, you know, when I first did the you know, when I did Second Dream, right, and I unlocked the ability to use like the operator beam. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, well, this is really cool. I really like this. And then that was really just a tease of what was to come. You know what I mean? And it's just like, holy shit. And then I tried to do some Eidolon hunting. That's been you know, that was a thing. Yeah, we need to do that together, because like the problem is that like I was doing it with people that are like far more experienced and higher level and have all the equipment and shit for it. And because of that, like I didn't really understand the fight. I didn't really I understand it now because I fought I don't know what it's called, like Parallax or something like that. There was a boss.
Oh, the one with the three generators.
Yes,
that one.
Yes. I did that one solo. So now I think because I've done that one solo, I think I now understand how to fight Eidolons. Ropolist, thank you. So I think that now that I've done that, I think that I understand how to fight Eidolons. I'd imagine they're pretty similar. So if that's the case, everything's all good in the hood, and I get it now, which is good.
Yeah, that's been part of the learning curve a little bit, is doing like a higher end, like sorties and stuff like that. And you do the higher end stuff, and where I'm at now, it's not an issue. Like sorties aren't that big of a deal for me, but beforehand, it felt like just like a super hard carry, because they were all like gone killing stuff. I get over there, I'd pick up some loot and then chase them to the next spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it like you don't know what's going on in the fight.
Yeah. With that said, what else? I mean, like the reveals and stuff like that, the way that they worked that out. Also, Sacrifice is another one that was really good too. But like the War Within, it was just one of those like really like you know, flip you on your head moments where it's like, I'm getting kicked off of my fucking orbiter. I'm now in the snow and walking through the snow and the cold as my operator, and controlling the operator fully and doing all these different things.
Tonal shift. That's what it was. Tonal shift.
Yeah, it was a major tonal shift. Yeah, huge. But I also really like how much the game evolves itself with these quests. Like you can see the intent, but even more so, like even though the lore of the game's a little convoluted, it's a lot less convoluted than Souls games by a long shot. But with that said, like they're really good. Like they're really good story writers.
Yeah, no, like once, like you can see as they got better and better and better through the quest, and then like once they latched onto like a narrative, like a actual narrative, they've killed it. I enjoy the story a lot.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising. I mean, like the thing is that like I was expecting, like I think the thing is that like with how much reverence I see from the game's community, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, like I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, there's supposed to be some like really crazy and cool reveals, and that's the reason why people love this so much. So that's really interesting. Okay, I'm looking for some shocking revelations. But like in general, like their story writing and stuff is really good in a game that I just really wouldn't have expected to have such a good narrative.
Nope.
And I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but if I had to put it on like a narrative scale, it's much closer to the Final Fantasy XIV narrative than it is to, you know, many of the other games that I've played over the last few years. It's very good. It's very good. It's a very cool and interesting story. And it takes twists and turns in places that you wouldn't expect it to. Like my realization of like what Warframes actually are. Holy, that about broke my brain.
Yeah, I kind of guessed it going right before I started that quest. I was like, you know, is what it is. Like, I mean, you're literally swapping Warframes constantly, right?
Yeah.
So once like the operator like did the whole pop out thing, I was like, that is crazy. Like the fact that you can just do that, just pop out of your deal to do certain stuff.
No. Like, you know what a Warframe is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's a death robot from space.
Oh my God, you didn't read the fucking things.
Oh no.
You skipped.
If they don't talk to me, I don't.
They did. It was, oh my God, you. Oh, Mark.
I probably don't remember, to be honest with you.
How? So the sacrifice quest, right? So when you're doing this stuff with Umbra, right?
Yeah.
You're getting Excalibur Umbra.
Yeah.
You keep getting the there's like that cipher that you keep reading that has like memories in it.
Oh shit. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And it's basically Ballas that's like, it's like Ballas's notes, right? Well, in that in the reveal when it's discussing it, Warframes are people. They're humans that were infected with the infection, like the infected that we see.
I thought that they were
that had their skin hardened and turned to steel, and they grew blades and abilities, and they've been basically testing and experimenting and harvesting these people over the years. And all of the primes, from what I understand, all the primes are quite literally just infected people that were turned into what they are. They're basically zombies that are being controlled by the operator through transference.
Oh, okay. So I think I misunderstood that. I thought that they created the Warframes to fight the infection.
No, they created the war. Oh, I mean, partially because they created the infection. No, they created the infection. So the Orokin, the scientists, they created the infection. They created the sentience. Basically, every single time they create something, it's creating something to fight something that they fucked up. So it's like they created the sentience, they created the infection to fight the sentience, and they created the Warframes to fight. But like, it's just one of those things. Like, they just keep making mistakes. Whether I have the order of that doesn't really matter. But that's basically the purpose. But that whole story
when they were doing that, I thought they made them specifically to fight the infected.
No. So like, that's why when you're doing the sacrifice, that's what's happening to the guy in the bed. He's being turned into a Warframe through infected. That's why he becomes Umbra.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. So basically, you as an operator, as a Tenno are literally just controllers of like the remnants of like what people were before they did these experiments on them. So Warframes are literally just infected people.
I like it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was wild.
So what did my muscle mommy look like beforehand?
She was still thick, probably.
I'm betting she was.
Yeah, I'm betting she was still thick. Yeah. What I would do, Mark, really good thing to do. Chat made me do this. Go read Rhino Prime's codex entry.
Okay.
Because it talks about like a science facility.
Okay.
And
right.
You'll put two and two together after you
I just misunderstood. I thought they were they turned them like into the infected, and the Warframes were built specifically to.
There was a section in there. Somebody just said it in chat. His skin blossomed and turned sword into steel. That was the line. So it might have just went over your head when you read that part.
Yeah,
But
it might have.
yeah. So that was the explanation, is that they quite literally quite literally did that. And then but no, either way, like the reveals and stuff like that, like even just like some of like kind of like the hidden dialogue and things that you'll find, like the story's just been really interesting so far. And like just from a narrative perspective, like gameplay aside, it's just been a really interesting and really fun experience to play Warframe for the first time. But it's crazy how much that like folds on top of each other, where it's like you have this really awesome narrative, and then at the exact same time you have a game that then expands upon that by adding in all these different systems and all these different cool things that you can do, all these different frames that you can play with. Like even just like the crazy thing about like there's going to be so many videos that I'm going to end up making on Warframe, because it's such an interesting and unique game. But one of the things that's like really crazy is you can quite literally pick just about any system in Warframe and like dissect it, and it in itself has like so many flashes of genius.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm writing a note down.
He said, "Hold on, I'm writing a script right now."
Yeah.
Did you do the Inara story?
Not yet. No, I'm gonna do that this week.
Yeah.
Coming up.
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
So what I was saying is that like, you know, you can pick just about anything in the entire game and look at it and pull it apart and see like the flashes of brilliance in it. Like even if you just played Warframe as it was as a game and just looked at just the flexibility and design of Warframes and weapons alone, it's fucking crazy. It's beyond any game that I think I've ever played. And the closest that you might be able to get to it, at least we'll say like maybe on a weapon side, would be something like Borderlands. And they had to use procedurally generated weapons to be able to make those in the first place. These are actually crafted weapons by people that came up with these ideas. You know, like there's a gun, I mentioned it in one of my videos. There's a gun that like when you go to reload it, you like hammer it like an anvil, and when you hammer it, it explodes in an AoE around you. I've been using the Catabalist, which is a pistol that shoots out like goop, and it like sprays them down. I made sure
it shoots out goop.
I made sure that I turned the energy on it white, so it just looks like I'm just like spooching all over like everything. And if you reload early, the goop explodes. If you empty the clip, you'll actually remove the like reload organ, because it's like an infected weapon.
Yeah.
You'll remove the organ and then throw it as a grenade, and it explodes in a big AoE and knocks everything around. Like, and that's just two examples of two weapons, but like everything has stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you look at even something like the like Fulman, how Fulman can go back and forth between an automatic and a shotgun. Yeah. You look at like the Phantasm, which or Phantasma, which, you know, shoots out as a shotgun shooting lightning bolts and energy or plasma or whatever. There are so many different really cool weapons that have their own unique purpose and abilities that it's so damn flexible. And then on top of that, they try to do their best to make sure that just about any weapon can be, we'll say it like that, any weapon can be viable. Some weapons are obviously going to be better than others, because that's just how it is. It's just part of video game design. It just ends up happening. But you also, at the exact same time, you know, have, you know, like Riven mods that can make a weapon that nobody's using into one of the best weapons in the game. I still don't know what Incarnans are, but obviously that's another evolution of that kind of system as well.
Yeah, I don't know what those are either.
You get them from Steel Path Circuit. That's all I know. So every week you want to do your Steel Path Circuit, because Steel Path Circuit will give you that kind of stuff. That's actually probably a good place for you to start anyway, because I don't think you can take your standard weapons in there. It's all RNG what you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but with that said, it's one of those things where there's just so many really cool and unique things that they do with this game, and it's so damn cool to see, you know, how popular the game has been over the years, but even more so, like, you know, how it's stayed continually successful. Yeah, and I'm wondering, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm wondering if like walking into this, obviously I know nothing about what is it called? I don't know anything about 1999 yet. I'm not that far in the story enough to be able to want to know what that is. But it also feels like I've just like stepped into a game for the very first time that's about to hit a renaissance.
I think so. I think you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
well, no,
the
I mean
new
like
war.
as a content creator. Like I think I'm stepping into a game that's about to have a big pop off really soon here. In a similar way that like how like not that Final Fantasy 14 like had fallen off or anything like that, but where you saw like a major resurgence of players and interest in a game with Final Fantasy 14 just before Endwalker, you're probably looking at something similar that's going to be happening with Warframe here in the future. Like general interest is starting to pick up a little bit, and it looks like with how much they've transformed the experience of Warframe over the years, it looks like it's about to step into yet another one of those like wild transformations that's going to bring a lot of attention to the game. And I'm hoping that's what's going to happen, because the thing is that like as it stands, you know, I see the way that the community is treated by the developers. I'm seeing like how much they mean to the developers. I see how much the game means to the developers. I see how hard they try, the different things that they've done. And I really do, and I said this in one of my last videos, is that like Warframe deserves to be the most played free-to-play game on the market.
Yeah,
period.
for sure. Yeah,
period. It deserves it. It deserves every bit of every player it can have.
It's surprising. It's like we're talking about, you know, our game of the year, whatnot, and it's up there in my list for 2024 is Warframe of my personal game of the year right now. It's in the running. So.
Yeah. Oh, so somebody asked me to do this in chat because you obviously don't know either. So do you know who Ortis actually is?
Do I know who it actually is?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So there's a hidden mechanic in the game where you know those things that we can scan on the ships depending on what planet you're on, and it would like count them up. So like there's like 4 for each planet, and it'll unlock a thing in your codex, right? Mm-hmm. So there's like 4 on Earth and 4 on Venus, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, those are if you actually open up those codex entries and you hover your crosshairs over the image that pops up, hidden on the image is a secret voice entry from Cephalon, from your Cephalon. Okay. And Ortis basically hid these in there, and it's like fragments of his memory for the most part, right? It's kind of like notes to the operator, if anything else. And if you listen to all of them in a row, you can actually watch a video, and it will actually explain all of it to you. But I can summate the best that I can. But he was basically a warrior that was given the option to become essentially a like Kuvalich, basically. He could become an Orokin. They were going to give him the immortality, right? Give him the Kuva. You know, that red juice that you got to drink at the end of War Within? Yeah.
Yeah, I know what Kuva is. I use it to reroll Riven mods.
Yeah. So he was basically given the option to do that because he was, you know, a successful warrior and all that stuff. This dude had bone plugs put into the back of his skull, like basically like daggers or kunai, okay? Mm-hmm. And he got the opportunity to be in front of the Orokin, which the Orokin are like, or was it the Orokin or was it the because the Orokin were the scientists, right? I get it mixed up. Like one is the one's like the ruling class and the other one's the scientist. But either way, he basically gets the it was the Orokin. Thank you. So he gets the chance to talk to the Orokin elite. Okay, so these are the top people of society. These people are basically gods. Like he sees them as like these beautiful people, but he fucking hates them. And he hates them for a good reason. It's because basically him and his people have been fighting for their entertainment more than for anything else, right? Everything, all the woes of society have been caused by these people because of their experiments and because of, you know, their wants and needs and their entertainment more than anything else. And he takes this opportunity of them giving him this grand reward to become an immortal and says, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." And he pulls the fucking bone plugs out of his skull. So he's dying, right? He's basically killing himself, and he's running at them, and he starts killing a bunch of them.
Fuck yeah.
Right? And his name was that? Oh my God, I can't remember. Like King of Bones or Baron of Bones, I think. was his nickname. And he was like the greatest warrior of all. He ends up killing all these folks. And Orden Karras was his name. Yes, the Beast of Bones. Thank you, Beast of Bones. Orden Karras, the Beast of Bones. So this crazy badass warrior goes out, starts taking out all these Orcan. It's a really cool, like the way they describe it is really, really interesting. It's really good. So I suggest watching it. He takes out a few of them. They give him they end up laughing at him. They think it's funny that he kills a few of them or whatever because they're immortal. Obviously, they're just gonna get into a new host because of the Kuva. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they give it to him so he stays alive. And then all of a sudden he wakes up and he doesn't have a body anymore. It basically, his sentence for turning on them was they turned him into a Cephalon. And like removed his memories and all that kind of stuff. But then he's also in this cycle of like constantly remembering who he was at the same time, and then resetting himself. So that's one of the reasons why when he's on the ship and he's talking to you, he's like,
this is like hidden in the codex. Yeah. Okay.
That's the reason why. You ever thought it was strange when you come back to the ship and he's just like, "Welcome back, operator. Good to see you covered in blood." Yeah, because that's who he was.
Okay.
The Beast of Bones. That's why he likes that you come back and you're like all bloodied and you've been slaying enemies and stuff like that. Like, it's sick, dude. It's super cool. So I highly suggest you check out his lore.
Yeah, I'll check this out.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job with that, with making like hidden lore in the game, but also making hidden lore and stuff like that pretty approachable at the exact same time. But you'd never find that stuff. I would have never found that if somebody ever was like, "Hey, there's hidden lore in the game. Where do you think it would be?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, up my ass."
Yeah, like I don't look at the codex.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm playing the game.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Well, I mean, I think the codex kind of use a little bit of a tune up, to be honest with you. I don't think it's like the most approachable thing to use in the game either. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, like I've just had such a damn good time playing the game. I've had a really good time learning its story, but even more so like learning its systems and just playing it moment to moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, who knew that Ortis was the main character the whole time? That's what someone said. Yeah, I want to check it out. I'm going to check out the codex.
Yeah, I might end up doing some like straight up lore streams where I just like read like codex entries for some of the primes and stuff like that, because obviously like after reading like the Rhino Prime one, I'm like, I bet there's some other ones that are in here that are like really cool to read, so I might read some of those on stream and talk about it.
Said Ember and something else was to look at if you were trying to follow that same storyline.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right, least favorite frame, go.
Least favorite?
Yep. Least
Mag.
favorite. Dude, we've just become best friends.
Mag is the only one that I haven't really like enjoyed that much.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to say Vauban, but at the same time, not really, because I feel like I just don't understand him, and that's the reason why I didn't like him. Mag unsubbed. Oh god.
Mag is so good. Like, that's the thing, is you can't, like, everybody has their one, right? They have their one, and then as soon as you say,
actually, you know what? I change it. Trinity. I change it. Trinity, because one Trinity feels completely fucking useless because it's like it's just a pure healer. It's probably super situational, but it's just like not fun to play. If like it seems like a very niche frame that means that it's just not good overall in the game. Like, I think its design looks cool, but outside of its design, it's just like what am I gonna do with this thing? I think Trinity's the healer, right? She was once very useful. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah. I think I've moved. I changed my. You know how you can do your search? You can change it to like most used, or most time like Gauss, Anaris, and Hildren are my most used.
I've seen a lot of what is it? I've seen like Mesa a lot on like art and stuff. I kind of want to get that one. I don't know if that one's available for me to farm. I haven't checked. I have to look for that one. There's a couple ones that I have like I gotta look through my relics and see what I can actually farm up and stuff like that. So probably have to take a look at that and see what's up. But what else? Yeah. So outside of Warframe, I have gone back to Elden Ring. Oh, I guess I'll wait. I'll let him do that first before we move on to anything else. Hildren. I have base Hildren, but I didn't really see like the purpose of it. I guess I don't know. Like I guess I'm too used to playing like all these like attack frames and stuff like that right now that I haven't really paid attention to like how the other ones work. I play very selfishly. You know what I mean? I want to see things go, you know, big boom and bang and kill stuff super quickly. It's always fun. Hildren needs an augment to really shine. Are those like specific mods for the character? If that makes a lot of sense, then it's kind of like Necros, right? Like Necros, I didn't really see the point until I got like his like what is it called? Something, not decompose, despoil. I think that's what it's called. And it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. I see what this is all about. So, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Outside of Warframe, I have recently gone back to playing The Eldest of Rings.
Yes, I also have downloaded it, and we actually didn't talk about it. To start playing it for the to get back in the groove, the Elden Ring groove.
There's a lot to do there, my guy. There's a lot of game there.
Like I was saying earlier, is I think I honestly like I thought the game was great. Don't get me wrong, but going back to it after not playing it for what almost a year and a half or more, that is a really good game. It is a really well made game.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I kind of avoided the game for a long time, like avoided going back to it, and I kept avoiding going back to it. I think specifically just because of the fact that like I know how big it is and how long it can take to get through.
Did you know what I mean? Critical as a character?
I did actually. How'd you get?
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Some straight up Charlie action going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But dude, I've just been having such a good time, man. I forgot like how incredible of a moment it is, like walking out into Limgrave for the first time.
Yeah. Looking up at the big ass tree.
I just like it's so crazy. Like it's such a pretty game, and like even still, like even compared to like with a lot of the stuff that's come out over the last few years, like it's such a it's not like it's not the fidelity of the game.
No,
it's just that like everything in the game, just about you can pause and it's a painting, especially when you're outside in the open world and stuff.
It's well crafted.
Yeah,
it's well crafted.
Yeah. I just man, I've just been having a really good time with it. And plus on top of that, like I'm also like kind of a sucker for boss fights to begin with. You know what I mean? And because I haven't really gotten that itch out playing Warframe lately, I've been able to get that itch out playing Elden Ring. You know, like that, like trying to figure out a boss, like because I don't remember any of the boss's mechanics in this game at all.
I noticed that almost immediately playing the game.
Yeah.
That I just didn't remember shit.
Yeah, like right now I have like
character was
right now I have me fighting Renala on screen. I completely forgot that you have to attack like the ones that are singing. It took me probably, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes before I realized it, and I was like, oh right, that's right. You kill the singing ones and then it breaks her sphere. But I miss that kind of like puzzle solving in the background of your mind and like trying to figure out how these bosses work and trying to figure out their patterns and then taking them down and you know
actual mechanics.
Yeah. It's been so damn good. It's been so damn good. And Elden Ring stream when next week. I'm not gonna do like a full playthrough stream. I'll just like I'll just do like a kind of like a casual like pop stream on while I'm playing the game because I've already been playing it, right? So I'm not gonna like start all the way over again. I probably should have, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Some games I like to play off stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, I couldn't imagine like streaming in general because I first of all, I normally don't play with any clothes on. Secondly, just to have the pressure of someone watching me fail over and over and over again is just too much for me. I'm not that big of a gamer.
Yeah, and
I
like
guess.
plus on top of that, the thing is that like one of the things that I really like about Elden Ring, or like Souls games in general, not all of them are like this, but Elden Ring definitely is that like Elden Ring has the coolest approach to difficulty, probably out of just about any game ever. And it's the idea that I can just like, oh, you know, I'm having a hard time, or maybe the game just doesn't feel good because I'm not doing enough damage or whatever. Well, I can just go farm. You know what I mean? I can just go farm some souls. I can just go fight some stuff. You know what I mean? Go fight some minor stuff, level up a little bit, and then come back to that challenge later. You know what I mean?
Weapon. Yeah.
So it's like, and I've been having a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. And I did a pretty decent amount of like farming and stuff like that at the beginning of the game, just because I'm trying to like speed up the playthrough a little bit, because obviously I've played some of the stuff already. And I kind of want to get myself like somewhat prepared for the expansion since it's coming soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to take too long playing it. I want to try to make sure that I, you know,
Burn
get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I initially, like right when I started the game again, you know, run out there and you go to do something and someone puts one of those stupid, like, I hate the fact that people control with the, you know, the messages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just like I wish
I love that they can, butt finger butthole.
Yeah. Butt finger butthole. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like that stuff. I also really like, you know, the idea of like seeing like other people's characters running around in the world, even though they're not somebody you can interact with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see
I like that stuff.
Did you see the one that's in your clip that had he just like ran into the pole? Like
Yeah. But man, it's just one of those things where it's like it's one of those games that once you fire it up and you start playing it again, it actually is one of the first times in a long time that I've had a hard time really putting into words exactly like how I feel about Elden Ring as a game, because it's so difficult to approach because there's so many different things that are going on. Like it's such a masterclass of game design. Like it's such a like it's the perfected formula of Souls. You know what I mean? Like we're seeing it reach its like I wouldn't say it's its final form. I think that
it's
Dark Souls and the Souls games in general. You think it's the pinnacle?
I think it is.
So you think it's downhill from here?
Yep.
Really?
I think this is their Half-Life 2.
Really?
Yeah.
But how would you know without Half-Life 3?
I'm just saying. What no, I look at it like this. What else has Valve done after that?
They didn't make any games. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Like this was their peak. FromSoft is going out of business now. No, okay. I mean, I think this is going to be it's like when you come out with a game this special and that good, it's so hard to top it. It is like so hard to top it. Like I wouldn't even want to begin to start to have that, start that project up. I mean, of course they have Armored Core and, you know, stuff like that, but within like any game that FromSoft makes, it's going to have a sword with a roll. People are going to link it to Dark Souls, right? Didn't they say they're not making any more like Dark Souls games specific to that brand?
I don't think
that
so.
title?
I don't think so. I don't remember them saying anything about that.
I'll have to look it up. I thought I read that somewhere.
I don't think I've seen that anywhere. No. But with that said, like the thing is that like maybe maybe Elden Ring from like a popularity perspective, like maybe it'd be really difficult to be able to. I don't think so, man. Though I think that like whatever their next major like Souls game specific is, whether that's like an Elden Ring or they return back to Dark Souls,
they can't put a Sekiro out after this game as their next like Souls like or their Souls game, because this game. They made it more, I wouldn't say easier, but it's significantly easier than their Dark Souls games. So it allows more casual people to come in, because Souls games in themselves are pretty niche. That's a niche group of people that love that kind of punishment. And so when this game opened it up to the whole world.
Yeah, basically. Which I think that they have to keep that same kind of design so far as maybe not necessarily open world. But I think they do need to keep the design of like being able to like have players choose their own kind of difficulty.
more
You know
more
what I mean?
more tangible, because man, Sekiro is like that game is stupid hard. It's stupid hard.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I
I've
mean,
quit it
yeah, there's
twice.
no like, oh, I'm gonna go like level up a little bit before I fight this boss. No, like if you don't beat that boss, it's because you suck, and you need to
Yeah.
not suck to beat that boss. So you need to do that. So stop sucking, please. I remember like dude, I fought that. What was that one boss? I fought the butterfly maiden in Sekiro. Like I don't even know. Uh, Probably for like 5 hours on stream. On stream. I think I fought her for like 3 hours. I got frustrated. I walked away and did something else instead, or I shut the stream down and fucking came back the next day. Tried for like another hour or so, and then I beat her. And it was only because I entered into this like weird Zen state where all reality bended around me, and I just ching 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 ching, and that feels so good to pull off. But you're absolutely right. Actually, I think that's a really good point. I don't think that they can go to a go back to a Sekiro directly after this.
Yeah,
Even
well,
if they wanted to.
I'm not saying like that. Sekiro itself. I'm just saying like a game as hard as Sekiro. I just don't think they can do it. It's not. I don't think it's gonna. I think it'll kill some of the vibe.
Yeah. I think that I mean from a business perspective, like I would continue to hold on to that wave, but I don't know. At the same time, look at Larian Studios. We made Baldur's Gate 3. We're not making a Baldur's Gate 4, and we're not making a fucking Baldur's Gate DLC. We're cutting ties. I mean, they cut ties with Dungeons and Dragons, I think, for more personal reasons than business reasons.
I think. Well, personal business reasons.
Both, yeah. Both. I mean, when you wake up and realize that like all the people that started to work on Baldur's Gate 3 that they were working with from Dungeons and Dragons, all of those people from Dungeons and Dragons are gone. Yeah, no, obviously it's like those are friends. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna be like, oh, okay, well we're gonna keep working with you guys because we want the money. No, they're just like, we're gonna move on then. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. It seems that people really hate Hildren, but and then like I got her mod on her. I've done some other stuff that I can't say because Ian hasn't gotten there yet. She's dope as shit.
So what are your predictions for not only, I would say like a couple things for Elden Ring's DLC. How do you think it's going to do in sales? We'll start there. How well do you think this is going to sell?
It's $40. It's $40, right?
Super cheap, $39.99. Yep.
I think everybody. I'm going to say 65% of the people who bought Elden Ring will buy the DLC.
How many people do you think are going to buy Elden Ring and the DLC for the first time? That's my thing. I think it's going to bring in a lot more people. I think the hype behind the people that have already played it are going to be coming, that haven't played it before, are going to come in now, and they're going to pick it up if they haven't already.
Yeah, I'm trying to also take into consideration the people who couldn't finish the game, because you know what I mean, like the difficulty, like they bought into the hype of the game and it's just not a game for them. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have some of that. I wouldn't say that's the difficulty. I would say that's just people that played a game that wasn't for them.
Yeah, that wasn't.
I wouldn't say it's because the thing is that like you can quite literally make Elden Ring a fucking cakewalk.
You can.
Like literally, you can make it. I mean, like you can just go full int build and get some really powerful magic weapons and go full magic summons and just dunk on the entire game.
You can.
You know, like
I said,
you can.
I'm just saying that there's gonna be some people that it just didn't. I'm not saying it's a big majority, but I would say I think it's gonna sell half as many copies as the original game did.
I don't know. I think it's actually
my final.
I think it's gonna be like one of the like first occasions we're actually gonna see something get as close to a 1-to-1 as it possibly can. Personally, I think that Elden Ring was such a massive, dude. It's such a behemoth of a game.
It is
such a behemoth. Like so, like the thing is that I'm planning on doing a video on it. Maybe next week. If it's not next week, it's gonna be like maybe like the week after that. I just have to see how the script comes together for it. But, you know, I attribute Elden Ring to being one of those kind of turning point moments where a lot of players kind of woke up to like the quality of game that they've been delivered from other studios and didn't really know. Like people knew that they were getting lesser quality games. They knew that they were getting less content. They knew that they were getting charged more money, but they didn't really have anything that was there to be able to contrast that with, to really see the comparison and go, this is like games that we used to get versus this is what games are now. And Elden Ring is very much that game that I think finally gave a lot of people the ability to look and go, holy shit, I'm getting ripped off.
Yep.
Like, I do think it's one of those games.
I've been getting lesser products.
Yeah,
yes.
like it's one of those things where like we'll constantly talk about how watered down games have been getting. We've been constantly talking about how, you know, the quality of games has come down, how the performance of games has been coming down, how more content's being drip fed to us or pulled out of the game to be sold later through like season passes. We can talk about how bad video game narratives have gotten over the last few years. Like, there's a whole list of different things and complaints that we can have. But the problem is that we didn't really have too many games to be able to contrast that with and show a really good example of what's been going on. And I really do feel like Elden Ring was one of those games that woke up a lot of fucking people, and they thought to themselves, like, why is it that I paid $60 for this and you're trying to charge me $70 for that?
Yeah.
Like, and even more so now, like, you know, going back to the conversation we had at the beginning of the podcast, you know, like I had people that were like, I can't look at you hypocrites, you know, being okay with $39 for an Elden Ring DLC, but you're upset that, you know, they want to sell an entire season's pass for, you know, Assassin's Creed Black Flag for $130. And it's just like, yes, because even with the DLC for Elden Ring, it's still going to be under $100 to play.
Well, it's not even the cost. It's the value. That's the problem. It's the value. You have no idea what the game's going to be like. You haven't seen what it looks like. You don't know what the when they say you get, you know, seasonal updates or whatever for free, you don't know what those are. You don't even know. They haven't even given you a path of what all that looks like, and you're saying here's $130, but I know that this is a quality product over here. And it's $30.
Yeah, it's like it's also the expectations thing. Like, of course, I'm going to be critical of Ubisoft because what has Ubisoft delivered that could justify? I saw somebody say that they're like, you know, is the season pass worth $60? Fuck, Ubisoft games haven't been worth $60 outside of the Division 2.
And they canceled their free to play.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. That wasn't being made by Massive though.
Was it not?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I think they've been working. I think they've been working on a true Division 3. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm super hyped. I'm super hyped for a Division 3. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give them $130 right off the bat.
There you go. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Also, Cassini Girl, thank you for the 100 bits. And somebody else like super chatted. I missed it real quick. Mythic says, Hildren's my main. She carries me in Steel Path. Love her especially with Christmas's ability. I don't even know what that is. Christmas.
Cass, I mean, they haven't shown any gameplay. I mean, a lot of these publishers and studios will say they'll show you a cutscene that's with in-game engine, whatever, but it's still not gameplay.
I really hope the Division 3 is has a good story. You know, the thing is that, like, I mean, that would be kind of cool, but it's kind of like an afterthought to me.
Yeah, like, it's a moot point. I just want to shoot dudes.
I just want to, I like the Division's gameplay and I like its loot. That's all.
Yeah. Like the Division 2 story is so like brain-numbingly dumb that I'm just like 1 and 2. It's just fun to shoot people and hide behind cars. That's it. That's my life.
I kind of hope Division 3 opens it up a little bit more. I don't know if I want it as condensed, like how it's like in New York or in these major. Like I still want the major city
grid.
I still want the major city appeal, but I think it'd be kind of like I felt like it was kind of a tease where you started in the heartland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the game, you were like on a farm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the middle of nowhere. Like, I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to have like a mix of that a little bit, like some like open world area stuff to run around in. But And somebody else actually brought it up in chat, and they said Elden Ring is an adventure. And I think that that's something that's like really important to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at a game like that. And one of the reasons why like a lot of people found a lot of value in it, myself included, is that it was an adventure. It was a game that you would sit down, point yourself in a direction, go in that direction, see how far you can get. You know, you'd be running on small clues that you'd get from other places, but you still had that ability to be able to be directed by the game from the grace, right? Because the grace will point you in a direction. You don't know what it's pointing you towards until you get there. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah, Ghost Recon will Wildlands mixed with the Division would be pretty sweet. That actually Wildlands the map part of it was actually pretty decent.
How many games are not an adventure? So when I'm saying it's like an adventure, or I would imagine like what the other person was saying when they were kind of pointing it out, is that in a lot of cases, many games kind of have us on rails. I don't see that as an adventure, as that's more or less a story being told to us rather than us experiencing a story or us experiencing a game. It's just not the same type of experience. Like Legend of Zelda is always the one I go back to. Legend of Zelda or Ocarina of Time. Like, you don't know what you're doing. They don't really give you any clues. You just have to go figure it out for yourself. And not a lot of games do that anymore. Yeah. There's a lot of value in that kind of experience. And it sticks with people more, I think.
So Elden Ring being an open world, the best way to explain this is you compare it to another open world game. Let's say you've got the Ubisoft formula where you've got this HUD across the top. It's got all these waypoints and follow this. You're 600 feet from this. It's literally telling you exactly where to go. Cyberpunk, it tells you exactly where to go and what to do. And Elden Ring does not do that. You have to find the stuff. I mean, there was somebody in the chat today that said that they couldn't find the first boss on Elden Ring and quit playing.
Yeah, you're gonna have some people to do that. Yeah,
I mean, it happens. So,
but at the same time, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
It's kind of cool. Because at the same time, you could have very easily also stumbled on a boss that was even more difficult than that, and then you ground your face against that boss, and then killed them, and then got to move on to go find another boss instead. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of different paths that you can take. Fuck, there's a portal that you can randomly discover in the first few minutes of the game that could take you to an end game zone. And technically it comes down to player skill. You could totally still beat that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that have beat the game there's people that get at the that have beat the game at soul level 0. You know what I mean? Like never
leveled up.
Forever stayed maidenless. You know what I mean? Real ones. Not that I could never do that shit. How do I play Elden Ring? I play it like it's Berserk. I trade. I'm gonna come out bloody and battered, but I'm gonna come out victorious.
Even with Elden Ring, I have to I'm not a skilled Souls player. Combat wise, if you dodge parry, I got you. I get it. The weird timings on the monsters, that's what normally gets me. So I have to bang my head against the wall until I beat it. I think the Millennia fight took me close to 200 tries, I think, to beat her. And it was rough. And I screamed like a wild man, like a Viking who just came ashore to plunder a village when I beat her. It was the best feeling ever.
It really does feel good, man. I got the same kind of feeling from not Elden Ring, but Sekiro 2, where it's just you only beat it because it was just that you were just in the zone in that moment, and you finally fucking got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love it.
It took me a week. It took me a week to beat her because I would, like I said, it took me about 200 tries, and I would just get so pissed off, I just turn it off. I'd be like, all right, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. So we are now at the part of the podcast that we normally take questions from the audience. So if you guys have any questions for us that you like to, maybe it's something that's happened recently, maybe it's a game specific game question, a question about us or anything like that, this is the opportunity you guys have to ask us any questions. All you guys have to do is at Legendary Drops. We will see it pop up and we will answer it.
Oh,
if you guys
shit.
have
What's
any
up?
questions,
What's
this
up,
is your opportunity.
Spacey?
What?
It's someone I work with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Trying to figure out, like, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner tonight. I haven't looked into that. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm doing. You know what I did? I bought a bunch of salad stuff, so then that way I can
dude, I've had salad the last 2 days, and dude, I am literally a soft serve machine right now, and I can't do it anymore. I can't even look at anything green. I'm good.
What job did you have with the trades? I was in like environmental health and safety, so I was more administrative, but I was in the field, like a on-site guy. I was an on-site guy. What's your thoughts on the visual novel? What's your thoughts on visual novel games?
Are they games?
I mean, they are, because they have like game mechanics and stuff like that. Some of them have like puzzles and things like that for you to solve. Most of them are like also like choice-based narrative games. So like depending on the choices that you make in it will depend on like the outcome at the end.
I don't play. I used to read a lot of those like choose your own adventure books. I imagine it'd be a bit like that, yeah.
I don't know, man. I haven't really played a whole lot of them. So like the ones that I did play was like a long time ago. I think that they're cool. I think it just kind of depends on like the audience. It's not really my like I don't know. They're not really like my cup of tea, but it's not necessarily something that I'm like I think that they're bad games or anything like that. I don't think that. It's just not something like I'm very like action centric sometimes. Like I look at games that I think that I'd be really interested in, like what's that one narrative game that people keep bringing up all the time and say that it's super awesome? It's one best game ever. All the people from Baldur's Gate play it.
Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium looks like an awesome game. I don't know if I would be able to play it personally. I just don't know if I would be able to. Like, not that I wouldn't try, but I haven't. Persona 5. Persona 5 is a JRPG. I play the shit out of a JRPG. Are you kidding me? At Legendary Drops, how many tries did Melania take from you? She took enough to make me quit the game. So let's see how we do with round 2.
Fight.
Yeah, I quite literally had like ground my face up against that rock so hard that I just put the game down out of rage, walked away, and could not. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. And then there was like something else that like came up. There was another game that released like near around the same time that I started playing as well, and I ended up playing that and then I just never got back to Elden Ring. Like I left her, and then I started to go fight other bosses, and I went up to like the Sky Temple and all that stuff, or this whatever, I forgot what it's called, but I went up to like the Dragon Temple or whatever it was in the sky. I started doing that stuff, and then I just felt guilty the entire time from not beating Millennia, and then I ended up quitting because of that guilt.
She shamed him into quitting.
Yeah. So now I'm going back. I'm doing it again. It's like I got to the point where I'm like, I know I'm like at the end of the game and I still haven't beat that bitch, and I didn't want to go back to fight her. And then I went back and fought her, and then she killed me more, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just can't. I need to play something else now, or I'm just gonna lose my fucking mind.
Well, you got a lot of questions here, my guy.
That happens. At Legendary Drops, what's your TennoCon expectations? I expect to have a good time. That's all I'm expecting to do. I think like my first couple days, once I like found out I was gonna go, I kind of got a little bit like anxious about it, but like anxious from like a content creator perspective, where I was like, how am I gonna make sure that I'm, utilizing my time the right way? What kind of questions am I gonna ask the developers? This, and this. What kind of equipment do I need to bring? How am I gonna make that equipment work? It's in another country. How am I gonna use myself? Like all these different things that I still need to figure out, but I don't need to stress about it. I just need to go and have a good time. I think that's the only thing I need to worry about.
Yeah, just go and have a good time. Let's see. Have you found any of the data pads or lore bits in Duvari?
No, I've not done enough Duviri. Not yet. No, I need to do more of it. But I think I need to like just sit down and like dedicate a day to Duviri and just like give it a shot and like see what's going on with it.
All right. At Legendary Drops, do you think obscuring a game's lore is ultimately a good thing? By the way, You should listen to the Requiem logs in Warframe. They're spoiler free. Requiem. Requiescent.
You gonna answer it?
Oh, it was for you, bud.
I mean, it says at legendary drops.
Oh, okay. I guess.
I mean, we're both playing Warframe. You can answer the question too. I could disagree or
no,
agree.
I don't think obscuring, like, that's one of my biggest beefs with Elden Ring, for instance. I don't like how hidden the lore is. I think Elden Ring would be a far superior game had it had a lot more spoken lore than just hidden stuff.
I think you need to have a balance between the two. I think having hidden lore is good. It allows the player to discover a story, but I don't know like how hidden. Like, to be honest with you, like Elden Ring's lore really isn't that hidden. It's just doing the quests, but since the quests don't point you in a direction with a quest marker, you know, that's where a lot of people lost the way. You know what I mean? Like, just as an example, like, how the fuck are you supposed to know that you need to go to a certain area of the wood? Like, just use Blythe, looking Blythe's quest. You have to go to the ruins and hear the wolf howl. And then after that, you have to go and talk to an NPC that you would believe is just a minor NPC because he's just a salesman over at the very first, or I think it's the very first bonfire in the game, at the first temple of the game. Talk to him, tell him that you heard a howling in the woods, and then that starts that quest line. And even still, then you have no direction after that. So, like, I think personally, I like Elden Ring storytelling and quest design, but it's not for everyone, and I think it's not for like mass consumption. I think for the people that can do that kind of quests or understand those kind of quests, they're going to find a lot of value in it. But the vast majority of players aren't, because that's just not how they interact with games. Because games have trained us not to think for so long. That's like one of the inherent problems with Elden Ring is the fact that like we've honestly been trained not to play games like that over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Chaos asks, what do you feel is the most important thing to see in a game in the first hour or so? Kind of a broad question, sorry. For me, I think it needs to be either it needs to have a hyper interesting story arc to start out to get you into it, to want to do more, or B, has to have compelling gameplay. Those two things, if those two things aren't in the story right away, it's not going to be it's not like what's there to hook you other than that, you know, the story and the gameplay. That's a good question.
What are your... Okay, sorry, I'll answer it too. My bad. I was writing something out. So with the layoffs and the rise of was the question again? Hey, what are your thoughts on the massive layoffs in the gaming industry over the last year plus? And do you think we'll see a rise in indie developers? I think we were already seeing it to begin with. I think in a lot of cases, a lot of these companies have overhired, not only just from COVID, but from like before then as well. Technology is now starting to outpace their ability to be able to like justify having as many people working at these studios as they do. This isn't just like, part of it is these companies trying to save their bottom line. Some of it is redundancies. But at the end of the day, it's still the mistake that these companies made to hire those people on in the first place. Like, companies downsizing is a natural thing. It happens in all kinds of different industries. Layoffs happen all over the place. I don't think it's necessarily anything unique to the video game industry. That doesn't mean I don't feel bad for the people who lose their jobs. That sucks. It does. But when we see so many games over the last few years only require a single, maybe two devs at most, to be able to make some absolutely fucking banger games that blow up and make millions of dollars and sell millions and millions of copies, it really makes you step back and think, you know, do we really need to have 1,000 people for a dev team? Do we really need 500 people on this team to make this game? And in some cases, while it can result in a higher quality product, for the most part, it hasn't for a long time. And I think we are going to see like indie on the rise even more so. If you haven't watched, there's a video on this channel. Actually, I made it recently within like the last like few weeks, like maybe 3 weeks or so. It's called How Indie Kills Gaming. and you'll get the full answer to that question that you asked right in there. So go check that one out.
Yeah, there's an interesting theory going around the internet right now. Back in the 80s, gaming took a huge downturn. And I use the word downturn, and it's something that Ian will know about with construction, and I know about with the oil and gas industry. It has peaks and valleys. And in the 80s, it almost completely died out. The theory is right now we are actually in a downturn for in the gaming industry, as in the people working in the industry. And so it's not as bad as what happened in the 80s, but it's an actual downturn. So I suspect we'll probably see a lot more layoffs, a lot more consolidations of studios going into other studios is what's going to end up happening.
Let's see here. What else is there?
Yes, he does play with the community. I saw that question more than once. He does.
Yeah, I play all the time. Everybody
Yep.
has a chance to hop in. I accept all friend requests, and you guys can just join in when I'm hopping into this hopping through the stars. We already covered that. We talked about Soulframe. We actually watched a Soulframe video in this podcast earlier on in the podcast. So once the podcast is over, you can find it that way. Where can we find your your username? It's just my name. It's Legendary Drops, just without a space in between it.
Yep.
Do you like Twisted Metal? I haven't played a Twisted Metal game, and I don't even know how fucking long.
I love Twisted Metal, bro. The show. Hey, there you go. There is a game to show adaptation that just didn't work.
No shit. Yeah, that was really bad. That was actually really, really bad. Let's see here. At Legendary Drops, you had mentioned that you loved Terraria. This may have been discussed before. But have you played through the content mods? The content mods like Calamity.
Oh,
if so, is there a VOD? I fucking wish. I played Terraria before I was making YouTube videos. There's gonna be like, I have a whole fucking script. I just haven't made the video for it yet. There's a Terraria video that I'm gonna make one day. The problem is that so I ended up having to reset a bunch of stuff on my computer, and I ended up losing all of my Terraria saves, which is a fucking hit. That's a rough. That hurt. I have like 1,300 hours in Terraria. So if you had to take a wild guess to if I've played Calamity, yes, I've played Calamity. Of course. I haven't played it since it's like more recent updates. Like I haven't played Calamity in like a year or so now, or like a year and a half or whatever.
The boss music is the best in Calamity.
Oh yeah,
it's
Yaron,
so good.
Dragon,
so,
yeah,
so good.
Yeah, Yaron's fucking theme is such a fucking banger. Who would have thought like a random ass power metal song would just pop out of nowhere? It's so crazy. Like Calamity is basically its own game. It's almost kind of like Calamity now just feels like vanilla Terraria to me. I couldn't see myself not.
Yes, it seems like it should be a part of the vanilla game. Yes.
Yeah, like the thing is, like, as much as I love base Terraria, like why would I ever play base Terraria when I can play Calamity?
Based.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lots
of updates to Calamity recently. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, those guys are fucking psychos. The amount of shit that they put in there. You love it when a modding community comes together in the way that the Terraria modding community has. Don't worry, it's going to be coming. It's gonna, like the Terraria streams are on the horizon. The right now we have a lot of shit to play. Right, we have the I'm playing Warframe right now. There's I'm gonna play Demon Souls. I'm gonna play Elden Ring and its DLC. Final Fantasy 14 has its upcoming expansion. Once we hit that little, like, you know, fucking kind of like chill period or whatever, yeah, we're gonna hit up some Terraria streams. I think actually in the coming weeks or something like that, I was thinking about setting up a server for the Discord. I don't know what would be a good game for what server we could set up, but I was thinking either we could do a Discord community play of Stardew Valley, Minecraft, or Rust. I've never played Rust before.
Yeah, I thought we did. No, we didn't play. No, that wasn't Rust. We tried what, DayZ?
God, that was a fucking
That was
garbage
fucking
show.
terrible.
That was fucking terrible. Yeah, it was so fucking bad. So bad. So bad.
It was so bad.
Do you plan on when do you plan on streaming New War? It might be week after next. It just like I'd imagine it probably will be, but we'll see. We'll see. It probably will be week after next. Next week I'm not doing it. I know that for sure. So it'll probably be the week after that. Yeah. Oh, Subnautica. Fuck, that's another one that's on there too.
V Rising would be fun.
Calfurus, thank you for the prime. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, V Rising would be fun.
Who are your top characters in gaming? Main character or not, doesn't matter. Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Ryudo from Grandia 2.
That's not bad either.
Foul enemy, you shall be defeated. Sky Dragon Slash.
Such a good game.
I know.
I don't know, Valheim. I'm not. I don't know. I like it. Don't love it.
At Legendary Drops, can you watch Warframe weird or obscure stuff videos on stream? What do you mean obscure stuff? What is obscure stuff? It depends. It depends on like
fanfic.
Yeah, it depends on like the content creators and stuff like that. Like sometimes like the problem is that like I've had two of my like major Warframe streams. I've had two of my major Warframe. Oh my god, I can't speak anymore. Warframe streams get demonetized, which is rough. That sucks. So I have to be like super careful about stuff that I react to. It's so much easier to do that stuff on Twitch than it is on YouTube.
Yeah, it is. They want you to hop into some fanfic Warframe. I don't know, weird stuff are you into?
Yeah, Subnautica is another one that I have on there. We might end up doing probably Subnautica before Terraria, to be honest, since I haven't played Subnautica and I've heard a lot of really good things about it. And I don't want to know anything more about it. I just know that it's good, and then people said that I would like it. Because I like survival games like that. Outer Wilds, that's another one too that I've heard a lot that people have said that I should play.
Outer Wilds, isn't that the?
Plus on top of that, I've heard those are probably going to be good for like those are going to be good for like content from me. Like if I make a video on it, because of the like from my like either my writing style or the way that I think about games, people have told me that those would be really good games for me to play and probably make a video
Outer Wilds,
about after I play it.
Isn't that the space one though?
I don't know anything about Outer Wilds. I don't know anything about Subnautica other than like one uses a submarine and one's in space.
Okay. I think I've played it. I think I've played it.
Oh man. You gotta play Subnautica with a heart rate monitor. Is
it scary?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, what you should do is make them play like Stellar Blade with an eye tracker. That's what you need to do.
And that game comes out on PC, baby. We're modding up.
The absolute filth that's gonna get modded into that game. It's
oh my god, yeah, it's gonna be a whole fucking thing, ain't it? That's gonna be a whole thing, ain't it?
Isn't it?
Isn't it gonna be a whole thing? Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have reached the end of the stream. So I hope you guys have had a fun time today. Had a fun time on the podcast. I always do. This is one of my favorite times of the week. Thank you guys for coming by today. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna stream. Initially I was gonna like write and record and all that shit, but like I have to like actually organize my video ideas and try to like pinpoint a schedule that I want to make some stuff. So I'm not gonna record tomorrow. I'm gonna stream tomorrow instead. So I'll be on earlier, probably 11:30 p.m. PST, something like, or 11:30 a.m. PST, and then we'll kind of go from there. So Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you guys had a good day today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a great rest of your Sunday. And we will catch you guys next time. Mark, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, you talk like the priest from Princess Bride, so it's awesome.
Willie.
Willie.
I can't believe you would say that about me. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys for stopping by. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, and I will see you guys